Okay, and I don't know why that went off. How's it going, everybody? This is Rob Novakast back with another episode for the podcast, and I believe this is episode 68 on the top of my head. So we got... You figure out what we're going to talk about. One thing in particular may be... we may talk about the recently released season 2 of The Umbrella Academy. I might make a quick mention, or actually, if anything, I'll make a quick mention now so it's just out of the way. First off, hello to Princess Megan, Elsa, and Mel. How you doing? So for those who've been following the dog hater videos, I guess, and I'm sure that as soon as I say this, 2 more channels are going to pop up for this guy. Another one of his channels was taken down due to hateful speech and bullying and death threats. So I will say that, it's an unfortunate thing when that happens to somebody, but at the same time, you can't be saying some of the things that guy's been saying. So I feel sorry, but at the same time, I don't. So it's a mixed bag. How's it going, Rosa? We also... But yeah, one thing we might talk about is the Umbrella Academy. I know on Discord somebody mentioned... what's it called? I guess Chris Hansen. I haven't been following Chris Hansen ever since, the drama with him. So that dude's become nothing but a shit show to me. Let's see. I'm looking at Discord this second to see if anybody came up with anything. MJ, are you talking about the one to talk about Chris Hansen? Yeah, me neither. But I did read your thing just before I got onto the... Is that Bambi? Yep, it's Bambi. Now she's looking at me. All right. Let's see. We got 4 likes, 7 people watching. Not a lot of drama. I haven't done a lot of videos. Later on this week, expect a discussion video between me and MJ about The Last of Us Part 2. We went through, what was it? I tried the best I could to shorten it because there was a lot of stuff to go through. No, I kind of kept a lot of it in. We were recording, just to give you guys a heads up, we were recording for almost 2 hours for this. And what time did we record this? I know it was like, by the time we were ending it, it was like, what was it? 1 a.m. was when we were, for at least me, for when we were done recording a 2-hour session or audio for The Last of Us Part 2 discussion. All right. And if you guys notice, under the table or under the desk, you will actually notice a couple of other Chihuahuas, Maple, Eclipse, and Mars. Oh, MJ's here. How's it going?
I hope that you edited out all that dead air.
I tried to do what I could going through all of it.
Okay, because there was a lot of awkward pauses and going through that outline.
I'm going to say this. I didn't say anything when we recorded it. I was dead freaking tired.
We didn't have to record then, but I mean, I felt bad for putting it off. And yeah, to answer your question, we finished recording at like 4:30 in the morning.
You did.
My
It was
time.
around. It was around
like 1:30
1.
for you.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of dead air, and there was like so we went over the outline ahead of time, and then he like told me everything he wanted to cover. We should have just saved that for the recording. But then I'd like go over the outline, so I typed it out myself so I could see it. And I was like, okay, so I'm going to go on to this next topic. Then he wouldn't say anything. And he'd be like, oh, yeah, I wanted to talk about that topic too. I'm like, no shit, you're the one who typed it. So if that's still in there, heads up.
Well, I'm going to... Actually, I feel bad. I might have to look over that. If anything, we could probably just re-record it.
No, I'd rather leave it raw. Like that. If you want to send me the recording, I'll take a look at it.
Okay.
Or send me the raw file and I'll see about editing it down.
Oh, hey, I got a surprise for everybody.
Oh, you got it. Nice.
Yep. Only members of Novakast know about this.
And the podcast for everyone who watched the podcast last week.
Oh yeah, that's right.
No lie, I was expecting a white violin.
Oh God. I think we'd all. Oh, I love that shirt, Rob. That's cute.
Baby Yoda. So,
where's my pick?
What kind of pick did you get?
No, I just it was like it's how much did I spend for everything?
Also, hi chat.
Oh, there it is. I went and just got this. Everything cost me. Plus, I went and got the 3-year protection plan for all. And just in
probably should have did that for mine since I'm missing a couple strings.
Oh,
everything
beautiful cobalt blue.
Is it blue or is it black?
It's blue.
Got a black outer.
Okay.
Black outline.
Ooh, that's pretty.
Right?
I'm gonna take off my headphones for a sec.
Using the strap. I see. I got rid of mine. It's in my case somewhere.
There we go.
And you probably have a hard time playing with your chair that has arms.
Yeah, that the arms are gonna get in the way.
You're gonna want to sit at the edge of your chair.
Yeah.
No. If anything.
Oh, I'm not lucky dog! You have one of the chairs that you can.
Oh, you bastard! You got a nice chair.
Oh.
Ah, damn! I may have to tune this because I have the freaking tuner.
That sounded like a Louis.
Yeah, it sounded a little flat.
Ah, true.
Yeah, come on, freaking register, damn it!
Shit! Hold on.
Damn it!
Are you hitting 2 strings at once?
No, just the one. My friggin' thing isn't registering. Okay, there we go.
Are you hitting the top E or the 6th string?
Yeah, the top E.
Okay, so here's the E. You guys enjoying this chat? Guitar session?
Oh, when it comes to playing and singing, that's a whole nother matter.
Aiden and I will sometimes play guitar, but I am not good at it. I'm really learning, and I haven't played in a while. I have these moments of where, like, and then other days I just suck, and like, how do I hold a pick?
Yeah. I don't even use a pick unless I'm going to be doing any tremolo picking.
You might want to put it away from your mic a little bit. Just one more ask. How bad do your fingers hurt?
Not so much because I take it out a little bit at a time.
Are we going to play a new theme for the channel? No, that's a little minor. Oh gosh. No, just remember me that Bo Burnham joke. The key, not the felony.
I'm sorry?
You ever hear Bo Burnham, Rob?
No, I have not.
He's a musical comedian.
Yeah, I just started like listening to his stuff recently, and I've got mad respect for the guy. I feel bad that he doesn't do stand-up anymore, but
I really hope he's doing all right.
yeah, because he has social anxiety like me. But anyway, I used to have a guitar a while back. I used to have my brother's guitar, but then he wanted, it's a nice guitar too. It's kind of like Ellie's last part too, but unfortunately he wanted it back. That sounds better. Let me play. Rob, hold up your pick to the camera. No, your pick.
Was that the G string?
Haha.
I'm sorry?
Sorry, I made a cool.
Oh, there we go. Finally freaking...
Do you have a electric tuner, or what are you using to tune it?
I'm using, was it the Tune It or the...
I'm not sure. He might be watching Digimon, the latest Digimon Adventure series. Yeah, I really don't know.
That's an A. That's flat. Tune it, you said? What, Rob, what do you have again?
Hmm?
What do you have to tune it?
Oh.
He's just tuning his guitar.
Yeah, okay. Oh, you have an electric tuner like mine. Okay. The screw fell out of this one, so it doesn't clip to the guitar properly. But I have one on my phone too, but I don't like that one as much. I like the one that I have. I can tune it by ear, but I'm lazy. So, have you finished Umbrella Academy, Aiden?
One more episode.
One more episode?
But I'm fine with talking about it after. Or during.
Okay.
It don't matter to me.
All right. Hold on. Let me pull up my outline here. We were going to record this as a video, but since we didn't have a topic for tonight, and both Rob and I don't want to talk about Chris Hansen.
Who?
Yeah, exactly. I'm hoping that was actually a joke and not you just not hearing me. Because then there'll be two of us that can't hear tonight.
It was a joke. It was a joke.
Well, no, I can't hear out of my left ear.
Oh.
I'm getting that checked later this week. It's been 2 weeks and I cannot hear, and it's just getting worse. All right, hold on. Everything wants me to install updates.
I will be right back.
Yep. Malbros is in our server.
As I screwed this up, come on.
Wait, why the hell is Skype open on my computer? Skype needs to be closed to install this. What? Okay, I haven't used Skype in a long time.
Wait, what about Skype?
I have updates on my computer, like Chroma Cam is updating, and it's saying that I need to uninstall or close out Skype, but I haven't used Skype.
Come on, there we go. That's better. Hey, why are you on there twice?
Huh?
MG is.
What do you mean?
I mean, for StreamYard.
Oh, she might have popped over to her phone.
Oh, no, I didn't.
Oh, updates.
Yeah, when it said click yes to force quit Skype, and then it decided to force quit Opera instead. And so now it's saying that I don't have. It says I need to get out of Opera. Hold on.
Lovely.
Jesus. I'll be back in a second.
I'll get better over time, I swear. I'm just at this point. I'm just kind of strumming the strings to get a feel of it.
Understandable.
I don't even know the freaking hand movements yet. I will. That's gonna be one of my goals for next weekend. But making a new theme tune, yeah, no. What's up, Magi?
Magi?
Oh, vegan. Sorry.
You racist, man. Just kidding. So, what's been going on?
Not a whole lot, really.
Came here to stop by since where did I get the opportunity to stop by on the podcast anymore these days? So is it like just like a?
It's chill stream.
Yeah. Since I noticed there wasn't anything in the title.
All right, here's MJ.
I don't know why I did that. It was conflicting with Opera because of StreamYard. So it made me close out everything in order to finish installing. So I should be fine now. Let's see. Hey, Vegan.
Hey, MJ.
Rob can sing. I've been trying to get him to repost if he still has the video of him singing When I'm Gone. Or wait, with you. Wait, fuck. Portal 2 song.
A Portal 2 song?
Yeah.
Oh, it's been a while.
It was good. It was really good. And I wish you still had that up. But that was on the old channel. All right. So, Vegan, have you watched The Umbrella Academy?
The Umbrella Academy?
Mm-hmm.
No, I haven't heard of it.
It's on Netflix. Season 2 just came out. And it's it's based on a graphic novel created by Gerard Way from NCR.
All right.
It's a superhero kind of show. It's really, really good. I've been waiting to talk about it with somebody because no one I knew, out of all of you guys, that has actually seen it. And then Rob started watching it, and Aiden's got one more episode to go. And I've been excited to talk about it with somebody. Rob and I kind of talked about it in DMs the other night. And cracking my ass. He cracked me up. Jesus fucking Christ.
Wait,
Oh no! Wait. Well,
but Aiden won't get the reference that we're talking about yet.
I was gonna say what?
Wait, what episode? What episode? How many episodes are there?
There's 20 altogether.
Yeah, and they're about an hour each.
What
40 minutes.
What went from us talking? I will out myself because what went from us talking about the Umbrella Academy went to me freaking going on a kind of like the Aladdin rant. Went on a freaking tirade about Breaking Dawn.
Breaking Dawn.
You want to?
I got it.
I'll let you read it.
Let's see here. Well, Aiden, sorry, you're going to be spoiled if that's okay.
I don't care. That's why I said.
I know. I'm just making sure. Because the
I'm gonna be watching
episode is going to be dumb as hell for you.
I'm gonna be watching the season 2 finale either way, and I'm gonna enjoy it either way.
So,
wait, let me see.
Hold on. Aiden, do you remember us talking about Breaking Dawn?
Vaguely,
the final fight and how stupid that was?
The what fight?
the final fight in Breaking Dawn.
Oh, that. Fuck that.
Yeah, guess what's going to happen in the final episode?
Of course.
Because
Why wouldn't
Lila doesn't just have no powers; she has all the powers.
Oh, well, I
Are you
will
guys
say.
talking about Twilight or something?
Well, hold on. We should first.
Okay.
Are we talking about Twilight? Or we?
Let me backtrack.
No, we're talking Umbrella Academy.
Okay, well, I'm combining the two. So if you guys haven't read Breaking Dawn or seen the part
I haven't watched the movie. I've read the book.
All right, there's at the very end of Breaking Dawn, there's this big old fight with Bella, Edward, Renesmee, all the other the good vampires against the ones that are trying to come after them. And at the very end of it, Bella all of a sudden has all like this whole power to stop all of them with this big ass force field, and it just ends. The fight ends. It's really short. They hype it up all throughout the book, and then it's short.
Oh, and
what happens?
Not just the book, but the freaking trailers when that movie came out.
Yeah, like the fight was not long at all. And don't get me wrong, out of the series for Twilight, I actually like Breaking Dawn the best, even though I hate the plot inconsistencies.
I hate the fucking movies.
But the finale for the Umbrella Academy season 2, there's this big old fight. It's with all the siblings and then Lila and the handler.
Oh shit!
And she brings in the other members of the commission.
Hey, we should, if anything, we should talk about the show in its entirety, and we'll get to that.
Okay.
So for those who have never watched, in fact, I'm gonna put this down for now. I think I've gotten a little bit of practice.
Nice guitar.
Thank you. Slowly but
gay.
slowly but surely, I'm going to learn how to play this freaking thing. Actually, one song I definitely want to play. You guys can laugh at me all you want. I want to learn "Toss a Coin to Your Witcher." That's the first song.
Why would we laugh? It's a good song.
Yep.
Duh. Just kidding.
Try to play Everlong from Foo Fighters.
Oh, that's actually you can't really do it with acoustic.
Oh, you can't?
I mean, he could, but it's not going to sound as good because there's distortion in it too.
Mm-hmm.
So
that would require an amp.
Yeah.
But anywho.
So Umbrella Academy. Let me get my outline real fast, so we can just talk about this in order.
Should we start you mind if I start with the beginning, how the story begins?
Yeah.
So I will say, just to start us off, this is based off a comic book, which is from Dark Horse, if I remember correctly. Mm-hmm. Kind of, and I don't know if it's relevant, but I think The Walking Dead was also a Dark Horse comic on the top. I think it was.
Hold on. No, I'm not saying I disagree.
I think it may have been AD Comics.
I don't think it is Dark Horse, but here. Image Comics.
Image.
Okay.
That actually makes a lot of sense.
Dark Horse is known for
a lot of the others, whenever a series, like a comic series, is coming out, as far as I'm aware, they don't really have it all in one large volume right from the get-go.
Yeah.
One book from Dark Horse.
Because
hold on, where did I put it?
The Walking Dead comics are huge.
Mm-hmm.
Like, each volume is massive.
Which, by the way, this novel from the voice actress that plays Erd in this show.
Plays who?
Really plays
Erd.
For Erd.
Each of the angels that show up in it, this is all I really know about
goddesses
are based on the Norse goddesses of faith.
Sin City. It's also Dark Horse.
But
this
is
because we have Erd, Beldandi, who's supposed to be Verdandi,
and Skuld.
Alien is Dark Horse. Buffy is Dark Horse.
The third one's name, I can never remember the third.
Skuld.
Hellboy is Dark Horse. Star Wars is Dark Horse. So.
I also went and got this shirt too.
Nice. I just got a Ocarina of Time shirt and a Rocco's Modern Life shirt yesterday. But so again, the Umbrella Academy is based on the comics or graphic novels created by Gerard Way, who is the lead singer for MCR. And
For those who don't know what MCR is, it's My
Chemical Romance. And Gabriel Ba is the animator or the illustrator. And I've read the first volume for the graphic novels, and I'll say that I actually like the show better. Like, I don't know how they would be able to make the comic books into the show, but just because they're so out there, and they leave a lot, like, they kind of diverge from the comics. But
they changed a little bit.
I mean, like they don't go by code names. I mean, Luther does. You hear him being called Space Boy in season 1, but it starts off on October 1st, 1989. There are 43 children that were born.
I thought there was more than that.
Hold that thought. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Was it more? I thought it was like 100 and something. But it was 43?
It was 43.
Okay.
And I mean, Aiden already knows this, but all of the mothers were not pregnant earlier in that day. They were spontaneously birthed.
Yeah.
And so this eccentric billionaire named
I wouldn't say eccentric, more like kind of
the show is the eccentric billionaire.
I mean, to me, like with how he acted, I didn't think of him as eccentric. Kind of asshole-ish. I mean, when he first shows up.
Well, eccentric in comparison to the norm.
Yeah.
I mean,
well,
he's not even.
I say that. I say that because when he first pops up, he goes. I think it was like the chick, the Russian chick at the very beginning,
mm-hmm.
and
how much you want for it?
Yeah, he's like, not even like how much you want for your baby. How much do you want for it?
He decided to try to find all of those babies.
He did, but only got 7.
He only got 7, and so he brought them to his mansion, and then he started what is called the Umbrella Academy, and there are these children that have superpowers. Yeah. And so they all, in the comics, they all have code names, but in the show they don't really go over that because Hargreaves, or the father, so to speak, is called the Monocle. And they go by, he doesn't even give them names. He just calls them by number. So number 1 all the way to number 7.
Yeah.
And the numbers are based on importance to him.
Yeah, importance to him. So number 1 is Luther, also known as Space Boy, and he has super strength. And he also got into an accident on a mission, which he basically died from, and then
is brought
back, but he's got the body of an ape now.
Well, I think
it's the upper body.
Just the upper body of an ape.
I don't think just the upper body. I think they make it very clear, like just as kind of going through like later on in season 1, but they basically make it clear that genetically he's more of an ape than he was.
But it's just his upper body as far as like physical appearance.
Well, in the comics, it's just his regular human head on the body of an ape.
Yeah, well, since you know more about the comics than I do, because I say this because they have to do a blood transfusion with one of the other characters, and Luther offers, but he's Pogo, a character who is a talking ape, pretty much tells them that won't do because your genetics are more akin to mine.
Yeah, you mean Reginald offers? Reginald offers a blood transfusion. Luther's not talking because he's almost dead.
No, I'm talking about later in the season. I'm talking about later in the season when something happens with another character.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Yeah.
No. Yep, I got it. All right. So he is number 1. Number 2 is Diego, also known as the Kraken, which they did not go over.
No, you're getting it wrong. Is it the Kraken?
Yep.
Well, yeah, it is.
It is the Kraken.
Oh.
They don't call him by the Kraken in the show. On the comics, he's known as the Kraken, and they don't even explore that in the show at all. Because one of his abilities is to throw knives and be able to curve them and hit them or hit wherever.
Well, I think.
Not gonna lie, that designation doesn't make sense.
But the Kraken, the reason why he's called the Kraken is because he can breathe underwater indefinitely.
Oh.
Well, another thing is they really like. I don't want to go too much into it now, but they really add on to his abilities to find out that it's not just him being able to bend knives.
Yeah.
No, it's anything that he throws.
So it's like more of. I don't want to go. I don't want to go into it. So number two
Basically
is the
Magneto.
Kraken. Allison is the rumor, and she
Hold on,
basically.
Hold on.
Oh, number
Vegan asked
3.
something.
What?
Vegan asked
What
something.
we get?
Huh? No, I was asking if it was basically like Magneto.
No.
He doesn't
it's
have
literally
magnetic powers.
anything.
He can just bend.
Literally
He can throw
anything.
things. He's a sharpshooter with it, like whatever he throws.
Ah, okay.
He can cause it to even bend too, so it's not just a straight trajectory.
Think more along the lines of
Wanted.
well, there's that, but I was
Yeah.
trying to think of that one antagonist for Daredevil.
Oh, Bullseye.
Bullseye, yeah. Think more Bullseye than anything.
You know, I gotta ask, which one from the Netflix version and the Ben Affleck version, which version of Bullseye was better?
I don't know. I've never read the comic, so I don't really know Bullseye's personality.
Well, I only ask because you have the Netflix version where he dressed up as Deadpool or Daredevil through part of the season for the last season of Daredevil, and then you have the Ben Affleck. I'm just like personality.
Colin Farrell as Bullseye in the Ben Affleck movie. I liked him in there. It was just, that movie was.
I will say for the Netflix version, he was more mentally unstable.
Yeah.
Clearly, he had potential, and they make it out like, oh, he was in the military, but he was dishonorably discharged due to his personality.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
But okay, so we've got Diego's the Kraken. Allison is the rumor. She's number 3. She has the ability to manipulate reality by saying, I heard a rumor, and then she can, like, they first introduce her in the show as, I heard a rumor that you shot your friend in the foot because they were trying to stop a bank robbery.
That you shot your friend. Yeah.
And so the guy ends up, like, being manipulated and shoots his friend in the foot. And number 4 is the Seance, or Klaus, who is one of my favorite characters.
I will say Klaus, just to. I'm going to say, how would you deal with the fact that you're able to communicate with the dead? I would say
I don't blame him for his drug problems there. And
honestly, it's considering what their dear father ended up doing to try and.
He locked him in a mausoleum for like.
And it kind of reminded me of if you guys haven't seen Dr. Sleep yet. Okay, you've seen The Shining though, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so the little kid, all grown up, in order to numb his abilities or numb himself, he basically boozed up and did drugs.
Yeah. Just because all these people would like want all the dead people that want to communicate with Klaus kind of like want justice. And so it's just become overwhelming to him.
That becomes helpful later though.
It does. In the comics, he's much more broody and dark. Yeah. But I like the Netflix version of him a lot better.
Oh, here. I said same here.
And then there's number 5. Doesn't have a name. His name is 5. But
the boy.
His nickname is the boy. And he has the ability to teleport or manipulate like space-time and also time travel, but he doesn't have it perfect. Yeah. He ends up... We'll get to that in a second. Number 6 is Ben, known as the Horror. And he has the ability to control demonic beasts in a way to help fight, but Ben in the show like automatically starts off as dead, and that kind of goes to the same in the comics. But even in the comics and in the show, we don't know how he died. But he's in the show regardless because he's able to communicate with Klaus.
I still think there's a bit of a hint as to how he died. With the inscription on his
Jeremy had said that he hasn't disclosed how he died.
Well, another thing too is the reason he's still around goes more into detail. Like we get more of a detail on why he's still around in season 2.
Yeah,
but the 5th one, the last one, because I don't want to use her other name till we talk about the show a little bit more. Vanya, which is number 7.
She's ordinary.
The first, and for those who have not read the comics. she is ordinary at the very beginning. I say that because, oh boy.
And that is played by Ellen Page.
Which I'm going to say she's probably one of my other favorites. Just with how she deals, just the crap that she has to go through with her siblings at the very beginning.
She kind of seems like the audience surrogate. Like,
You're not wrong.
She's like the normal one. Like that she kind of just views everybody like how the audience would view everybody. Yeah. Just because she was so isolated from the rest of the family, because she left and she ended up writing a tell-all book about
a lot of people kind of ostracized her and kind of didn't want to be around her half the time and treated her differently because she didn't have powers.
Well, because also their father, Reggie, didn't want her around them. And so I felt bad for her, if anything. Yeah. Like, just because she was always separated from the rest, because she was so ordinary, and she would help Reggie like with the others' training as a kid. But they're all siblings. They're adopted siblings, but they were all born on October 1st, 1989. And there's also this kind of love relationship between number 1 and number 3, which is Spaceboy and Rumor, or Luther and Allison, which some people get into debates about of whether or not that's acceptable because incest, even though they are not blood related.
But they go into that in season 2, but I'm going. That's neither here.
All throughout season 1 and 2.
No, I'm not even talking about those two.
Oh,
near the end. That's neither here nor there, and we're not going to talk about that right now.
I don't. Aiden hasn't seen that part yet, but I'm not saying that because I'm not trying to spoil you, because it's going to be spoiled. But
yeah. So it starts off introducing the characters, and
they come back together because Reggie died.
Yeah, and all of them, they all are living their own lives. Let's see, Luther.
He still lives in the mansion.
It's not really incest. It's not really incest because they're not blood related.
That's what I said earlier.
Yeah. Luther is on the moon. Diego is apparently fighting crime
as a vigilante.
Allison is apparently a celebrity.
Yep.
Klaus gets out of rehab, goes and does more drugs. 5 is
not in the picture yet.
Is not in the picture yet because he apparently disappeared. Ben, dead. And Vanya, the first moment we see with her, she is auditioning or like being
she's a violin teacher, but she's also practicing to try to be first chair at this like opera
concert.
Company. Yeah. So Reginald dies. They all come back for the funeral. They see each other for the first time in like 13 years.
Also, Pogo and Grace are 2 other characters I really enjoy.
Yeah.
Pogo is the talking ape who basically serves as the caretaker. And then there's Grace, who is their mother.
Pogo, I have to say, is kind of like the surrogate dad. The people, the one that they would usually kind of can trust a little bit.
That and Grace, I would say, or at least Diego has this like very deep connection with Grace.
Diego we'll go like as we go further. Diego has more of a connection with Grace than everybody else.
But their mother.
The only other one that comes close would be Vanya.
Yeah. So Grace is there. So like their mother, but she's actually an android that Reggie created in order for the kids to have a mother figure.
And when everybody gets there, something's up with her. She's acting weird, to say the least. Even though she's an android, she is forgetful. There's like gaps in her memory.
Hi, Sage, and no.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. Actually, Sage, there's this clip that I think you shared to me once where it was like a bunch of people from Warhammer killing each other, calling each other heretics for reading some literature. I'm using that for one of my videos at one point, so hope you're happy. But so they all show up, and during the funeral, 5 miraculously shows up. Actually, turns out he's not just a kid.
He's 58.
He's 58.
But he's in the body of his 17-year-old self or 15-year-old self.
And I guess he got the calculations wrong with time travel.
Yeah, he moved the decimal in the wrong space. But he shows up and he is there like, oh, well, he's dead. Okay, cool, whatever. Bound to happen. They're like, how do you know that? He's like, do you not know that I'm from the fucking future? But he ends up telling them the world's going to end in...
What, 7 days?
7 or 8 days, I think it was. And so he's there to kind of try to help stop the apocalypse, but he doesn't know what causes it. And he is kind of also being hunted by members of what they call it, the
Commission.
The commission, but the comics call it something different.
Oh.
I think it's called the Temp Aeternalis, but the Commission. And the Commission is responsible for taking control of space-time or the timeline. So making sure that certain events happen as they're supposed to.
How much you want to bet that that's not the case and they just want it to they want it the way they want it to be?
Most likely.
Like that's the way I like when I was watching them do all the stuff they were doing. I'm just saying, you guys just want it the way you want it to be. I mean, more likely, if anything, I wouldn't be surprised if you guys want Doomsday to happen. And then, okay, we're going to repopulate the Earth.
But what happens is that number 5, back when he wasn't missing and all the kids were younger, he wanted to be able to time travel. And Reggie says, nope, you can't time travel. He's like, I've been practicing.
It is too complex for you.
Yep.
What was his wording for it?
That
What, the one about
the acorn?
Yeah.
Oh my god, it was the acorn. Hold on. Ash. Hey. What are you doing?
Trying to find it. Sir.
If you hear noise in the background, she found the drawstring and the curtains in the room here, and now she's thinking that's her new toy. And she's managed to make herself all the way over to the other room, or other side of the room. She's usually a brat around this time of night. Yeah, I'm talking to you, little shit. We call her Shathid. Or shithead, but just a different way of pronouncing it. But love you, Kit Kat.
I'm trying to find that
Here. Let's see here. Acorn. That's not how you spell it. That's Akron. That's Akon. That's not the right quote. Spatial jump is trivial when compared to the unknowns of time travel. One is like sliding along the ice. The other is akin to descending blindly into the depths of a freezing water and reappearing as an acorn. Do you really think you can play games with time itself? And so, being a teenager, number 5 is kind of like, yeah.
Well, he's like not even a teenager. He was still a kid.
Yeah, well, he's a teenager. He was 15.
They were all teens at the time.
And so he's just kind of like, well, fuck that. I'm going to be rebellious because I'm a teenager. And so he jumps too far and he ends up in like the only survivor of the apocalypse.
Yeah.
And he sees all of his family members dead. And he ends up being stuck there for 40 years.
Not just dead, but he also sees that Luther has a freaking prosthetic eye in his hand.
And so he's trying to figure out what caused it, but he is alone for 43 years, and he ends up marrying, so to speak, to Dolores. And when I say marrying, I mean he is in love with a mannequin named Dolores.
Because it's the only companionship he has.
Yep. And so...
In fact, when he goes into the present, he hunts down that mannequin and steals it from a department store.
And so when he comes back to present day, he's telling them that the world's going to end. They don't really believe him. They're kind of like, I'm just going to deal with my own life issues. Yeah, haven't seen you in so long. Maybe you're full of shit kind of thing. But at the same time, two assassins from the commission, Hazel.
Wait, no, wait, you forgot
skipping?
you forgot when they get to the donut shop, they first sent off like a bunch of mercenaries at him.
That's
and they were
You
said the two. You said the two.
Okay. Yeah, so he wants a cup of coffee.
Which I think is funny. Like they're the old guys, because there's this like old mechanic guy that pops up, and I love his reaction. Where he's like, "I just want a cup of coffee," and the donut lady, thought that that
was his son.
Was his son.
But then these mercenaries from the commission come out to get him, and like that whole fight scene is why I immediately liked number 5. And I love the song that they fucking play for it too, which was from They Might Be Giants, Istanbul, not Constantinople.
That was great.
I love that song. I mean, They Might Be Giants doesn't really have the best rep or like when it comes to being liked, but I love They Might Be Giants. Birdhouse on Your Soul is one of my favorite songs from them.
One of the oh gosh, what was that song where all of them is dancing in their
Symphony.
own?
Oh, We Might Be Alone Now.
Yes, that I will say that scene was really great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot. They all start dancing. And they have this like dance break, and it's
there's a lot of dance breaks.
Yeah, but it's funny, and I like how they did that. But yeah, so 5 ends up killing all the mercenaries, and he removes the tracker that was embedded in his arm from the commission, because he was actually working for the commission before, and he broke protocol by coming back
without
to the future.
Well, going back to the past and breaking his contract with the commission.
Well, technically, he went to the future because he was in 1963.
Oh yeah, true. So where he was supposed to.
He was supposed to assassinate JFK.
Yeah, which actually ties into season 2.
Yep. And so
I will say, kind of skipping ahead a little bit, I'm kind of happy that came back up, and they didn't skip that little note. But yeah,
and so they kind of all go off in their separate ways, and while 5 and Klaus are trying to get behind the mystery or find out what about that prosthetic eye.
Well,
and
more 5 than anything. Klaus is
there. He's trying to play it along as his father, because no one believed that he was like 5 was actually an adult.
Well,
Klaus is more tagging along just so he can try and find shit to steal, so he can pawn it and get more drugs.
I think we should bring up that 5 tried going to the pharmaceutical company to see if the eye was made there, and they pretty much shoo him off the door when he starts threatening them. So then he involves Klaus next. And Klaus, I will say this is probably one of my favorite scenes. He's like,
I fucking love it.
He's like, you're gonna get
what?
He's like,
how my boy get a bruise on his eye or a bruise on his lip?
He's like, I don't have a boom. He's like, if you don't,
you're insane.
He's like, I know. If you don't give us what you want, I'm going to tell everyone how you assaulted us. Grabs the snow globe and bashes himself in the head.
Since we don't really make money off these podcasts anyway, do you mind if I share that scene? I found it on YouTube.
Yeah, we're going to get hit by copyright claim anyways. I mean, a lot of our videos.
No, I don't think so.
Because why?
No, we won't.
I'm just saying. A lot of the
Crimson Road just did a video yesterday and he showed actual like footage from Netflix, not YouTube. This is from YouTube, so if they do, then whatever. Let's see. Hold on. There we go. Share audio. There we go. Please show.
Okay.
Prosthetic rebuild is strictly confidential. Without client's consent,
I love that.
God, I love that scene.
I fucking love that.
Wait, was that one of the scenes from like the series you were just talking about?
Yeah. It's from season 1, episode 2. Those are my two favorite characters.
The whole family is dysfunctional as all hell.
Oh yeah. They are not normal by any stretch of the imagination. But
even without the supernatural.
All of them are dysfunctional in their own way. But what can you expect when they barely had a childhood?
Yeah.
And we should also mention the 6 kids, not Vanya. They've gained notoriety because of being part of the Umbrella Academy, because they were these young teen vigilante heroes of the city that they live in, or I think it's New York, right?
Yeah. As
far as I'm aware, it's New York, or at least in the show. But because in the comics they start off in France because they're trying to prevent the Eiffel Tower from being exploded, but also the Eiffel Tower is a spaceship. It's weird. This is
you're talking about the comic?
Yeah, but so they already have some notoriety. They have comics already made about them, which is kind of meta, and they have action figures made of them.
Well, it's only of the 6 that show their powers.
Well, and Reggie, he's got a figure made of him too, because that's what Harold Jenkins deals. But
we can't talk about him yet.
Well,
we can't talk about him yet.
Why not? Because he's in that same episode. He's introduced in that same episode.
By the way, shame on Klaus for getting it for stealing the box. I have a feeling if he wouldn't have stole that fucking. So just to give you guys a heads up, after the or during the funeral, Klaus steals a particular box from Sir Reginald Hargreaves' office, and it's a nice looking box. Takes all the contents, throws them in the garbage, and then goes to sell the box for drugs. Shame on him, because it turns out that pretty much sets off a chain reaction of events that caused the world to end.
Hey, I mean,
no, you have to admit that, because the particular character that we're going to mention in a second wouldn't have found the fucking book and wouldn't have found out about a little secret that Hargreaves had.
I think he probably would have, but it wouldn't have been right then.
It may have been one of the others. So it could have ended up being another one of the family members found out, and that.
I'm sorry, Rosa.
Emotion more so quicker than what it was.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I have a feeling, if anything, just to kind of skip ahead, Vanya would probably still be taking her medication. She wouldn't have the outbursts, and she probably wouldn't have been able to discover her powers.
Fair.
I mean, honestly, if Klaus hadn't done it, most likely one of the people from the commission probably would have had to do it as one of their missions.
Either that or, well, I don't think the commission even knew about Hargreaves.
Oh, they did. They know everything that happens at all times because of their infinite board.
Well, Hazel and Cha-Cha didn't know about him, but I mean, probably the higher-ups did.
I was about to say, maybe the higher-ups, but none of their freaking assassins, because Hazel and Cha-Cha knew shit.
Yeah, that's what I meant, though. They would have been given a mission steal this from this location while no one's there, or what have steal it from this location, get it to this person.
But anyway, we're actually moving ahead. We're moving a little far ahead.
But actually, if I can make one more remark, and this is going into season 2, one of the higher-ups knew about the kids that were born. And I'm gonna stop there, and then we can continue.
Yeah, because she's not even introduced yet until later in season 1. But
it's like her real intentions aren't even brought up till season 2.
Right. But anyway, so back at the donut shop, where 5 kills all those assassins out to get him, and removes the tracker. So he killed all of them. So the commission sends in 2 people, Hazel and Cha-Cha, which are
Hazel.
They're the ones, if you ever watch Netflix and you see a thumbnail for Umbrella Academy and there's 2 people in suits with wearing bear masks or a bunny mask.
No, it was a floppy ear dog mask and a bear.
And Hazel and Cha-Cha, played by Cameron Britton and Mary J. Blige, respectively, they are 2 of the main assassins that were sent to kill 5 because 5 broke their contract from, going back to talk to his family.
To try and change the
apocalypse.
Yeah.
And so it's funny because you kind of like feel for them because they're like right away, they're just complaining about how they got one hotel room instead of two, at least those 2 beds. But they're like, man, we don't get like benefits of the commission. This is bullshit. And they're able to time travel because they have these briefcases.
Yeah, Rob, where's our freaking benefits and shit?
I demand insurance. Chanel.
I will say between the two, I felt more sympathetic towards Hazel.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Hazel is an awesome character.
I did not like Cha-Cha.
No, I didn't.
I didn't either.
And I was actually surprised that, I mean, it shouldn't have surprised me that she wasn't in season 2, but I thought I read something where it said that she was cast for season 2.
I when I saw the explosion engulf, like the apocalyptic explosion engulf her while she's like trying to use the phone, I'm just thinking, yeah, she's dead. Plus, she doesn't have a suitcase, so it's not like she's gonna get out.
So they've been hanging out at this hotel, and Hazel has been hanging out at that donut shop, talking to Agnes, who is the owner of said donut shop.
Now,
and
apparently,
falling in love with her.
Now, I did hear, because I was watching a video, I did hear that there's a difference between the looks for Agnes in the Netflix series and the comic.
Oh, all their looks are different.
And I guess they wanted to make Agnes seem a little bit more sympathetic.
Yeah.
And in a sense, more, I don't know if appealing would be the right word, but a more loving character to Hazel.
Well, in the comics, Hazel and Cha-Cha are both men.
Really?
Yeah, and they are obsessed with sweets, and they are psychopathic killers. So they made them, Hazel and Cha-Cha, more sympathetic or likable in the show.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know if that was the case, but if that was what they're going for, then...
Well, because they literally cut off a guy's arms and legs because they liked apple pie so much. They're like, they wanted to know the recipe, and so they just tortured the guy and cut off all his limbs just to find out that the guy used canned apples.
Oh.
Yeah.
The fuck?
Yeah. That's why they changed it in the show.
Yeah, psychopathic.
They are obsessed with sweets in the show.
No.
Here, hold on. I can show you an image real quick. Let me share screen.
Are you showing the comic version?
Yeah. So hold on. So one thing is that the villain has changed. Like, this was the main villain in the first volume of the comics, who was the conductor. Hold on. Whoops. There we go. Sorry. I was showing the wrong tab, but here we go.
Well, who knows? Maybe season 3, that guy is the this guy that they introduced. Because some people were speculating that he may become the conductor.
So this is Luther. Space Boy. Wait, can you guys? Which one are you seeing?
I can't.
Okay. Shit. Hold on. Wrong tab. Share screen.
As I drop my pick.
All right. Share that one instead.
Okay.
And there. All right. Now, can you see me moving my... Okay. So this is Luther, or Space Boy, going from right to left. Then this is Diego. Behind him in the kind of the striped suit, the skull in the center.
Can I just say I know it's kind of simple, but I like Diego's costume for the Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
I saw that image, and I see this image, and I like the Netflix version a little bit better.
And then this is Allison, and with the purple hair. And then Klaus is the guy with that's floating. And then 5
probably has a ghost carrying him.
Maybe. Well, actually, no, not in the comics. And then 5 is the short little guy. He's actually 10 in the comics.
Oh.
And then Vanya is the one in the back. Let's see here.
Oh, wait, no. It's Ben. Ben's carrying him.
And so this is the show. So that's Reggie, or the monocle. And then you got 5. Can't see if that's Diego behind 5.
If not, it's Ben.
And then Luther.
And then Allison.
Yep. And that's Hazel and
Probably Ben by
Cha-Cha.
the looks of the facial features.
So Hazel and Cha-Cha in the show.
And I guess they changed Hazel's mask from what used to be a chipmunk to a bear mask.
Mm-hmm. Overall, the main plot's pretty much the same. There's Allison in the show. 5. Fucking love that guy. Also, one aspect of the graphic novel. But yeah. So things are there's big departures in terms of like character motivations and what have you, but overall the main plot is still the same. They're there to stop the apocalypse.
Yeah.
But so yeah, Hazel ends up falling in love with Agnes, and Cha-Cha is not having it.
Yeah, Vanya. Oh, and we also need to bring up the fact that Vanya is apparently one of her most recent students.
Is an older guy named
Leonard Peabody.
Yeah, Leonard Peabody, who doesn't even show up to his first lesson with a violin in hand. He just takes hers and starts playing it horribly. But
Mr. Peabody?
and then he asks her out to dinner after the first lesson, and she's like, I don't know. And he's like, okay, well, I got a woodworking shop, so over in this part of town, if you ever want to stop by. And then that's pretty much the end of that for the moment. But she ends up going to his shop, and they end up becoming friends and eventually lovers.
Like really quickly.
And this whole time, Allison is kind of seeing him as kind of like shady, and trying to warn Vanya, but she's just like, no, he's a nice guy.
I don't blame her because second time she comes across him, it's in Vanya's apartment.
Yeah.
Yeah, he says he's.
Oh,
there.
I thought you were talking about Vanya, like when it comes.
But it turns out he's actually there to take Vanya's pills and throw them away.
Yeah. Why is that? Because it turns out one of, as I mentioned, again, shame on Klaus. One of the contents was a book or a diary from Sir Reginald Hargreaves, and in the book details notes about every single member of the Umbrella Academy, including Vanya.
Well, a lot of the details on the stuff was first brought out thanks to Vanya because of her autobiography. It's part of the reason why they ostracize her as adults.
No, I'm talking about the powers. Nobody knew about her powers.
Leonard Peabody
talk
did.
About Vanya's powers, yeah.
No, Leonard Peabody found out through that diary.
No, he's read her.
No.
Oh yeah, that's right. He didn't read her autobiography.
She didn't know, and in fact, it's made clear from what Allison tells her.
You're misunderstanding what I'm saying, mate.
What were you saying, Aiden? Sorry, I had my headphones off.
I was saying that her autobiography talked about her family, not herself, because she thought she was ordinary.
Yeah. Rob's talking about Reggie's diary about outlining Vanya's powers.
Yeah.
That Leonard ended up obtaining because of the box that Klaus threw away and used to sell drugs, or for drugs.
Yeah.
So you guys are talking about the same point, but do different aspects of it.
Yeah, I was hearing what Rob was saying.
And as the effects of her meds start to lose effect,
her meds basically suppress her powers.
No, well, it's like I think it's like more
suppress her emotion.
Yeah, it more suppresses her emotions because her powers are based on her emotions, and from what I guess is described, she's able to weaponize sound waves.
Yeah.
So by focusing on a particular sound, she can weaponize it. And I guess early on, Hargreaves realized how dangerous this could possibly be, and that's why he made later on we
rumor her by saying, "I heard a rumor that you were ordinary."
Yeah, and it was like not just that, but he also made an isolation chamber, which canceled all sound around her, which we find out that was useless, or was going to be useless.
So Vanya this whole time never knew that she had powers. She was, I mean, basically what Alice's power is this hypnotism.
Yeah.
And she was led to believe that she was just an ordinary girl that didn't have any powers, but turns out she was the most powerful out of all of them, and Reggie was scared of that.
Yeah. In fact, if anything, it left unchecked, she could destroy the world.
Surprise!
Yeah, it's not really Allison's fault though, because she didn't know what she was doing. She was just following.
No, I don't blame Allison. I don't blame
Allison.
Yeah, I was just saying that. Never thought y'all were.
I mean, when as a kid, she doesn't even realize it either what she was doing.
Well,
I mean,
not
little
all
girl,
the time. Like she does admit that there was times where she knew what she was doing. Like that's how she became famous.
Yeah.
And that's how, like, because she was, when we first meet her in the show, she was divorced from her husband because it turns out she rumored her daughter because her daughter wouldn't calm down and go to bed. And so she rumored her to go to sleep. And her husband caught her doing that. And so he divorced her, and it was a big public divorce and everything. And the whole time she wants to try to see her daughter, but going home to her father's funeral prevented her from missing one of her dates, and so that kind of fucked with custody issues.
I guess if any, or I think it was like this therapist sessions that she had to go to.
Mandatory therapist sessions in order to maintain custody, and she wasn't able to go because she wouldn't have been able to get back in time because of her father's funeral.
Yeah,
and so I'll admit I didn't like Allison at first.
Yeah, Allison's a character. Allison's a character that starts to kind of grow on you a little bit.
I liked her a lot more in season 2.
And she knows that how the harmful effects of her powers.
Yeah.
And like emotionally what that will do to people.
So that's why in season 1, by the time we first meet her, she wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
She refused to ever use her powers because it ruined her life every time that she's tried using it before. And she almost loses her. She does it in season 1. She ends up getting her throat slit by Vanya's sound waves.
I was just about to say that, and I was thinking to myself, should we wait on that?
No, might as well go into it. Otherwise, this is going to take all night.
Well, it probably is going to, anyways.
Yeah, but
going back to the introduction of Cha-Cha and Hazel. Can I just say, I think because if I remember correctly, they used the song "Don't Stop Me Now."
Mm-hmm.
From oh gosh, I'm gonna hate myself if I can't remember the stupid Queen.
Wait, what are you asking?
The song "Don't Stop Me Now"
by Queen.
By Queen, yeah.
What about
asking who it was by?
No, I was saying it was a good song for that introduction.
Okay. When they were shooting up the Goodwill or whatever.
Yeah.
Or the department store?
Yep.
Well, Five was there to steal the mannequin, his love interest.
Yeah.
So they introduce them. Cha-Cha and Hazel end up tracking them down at the Umbrella Academy. And we finally get more detail on Luther being part ape.
Yeah, because none of the siblings knew about it.
Well, it's like, and not only that,
we got a tiny hint.
It was like, man, somebody's been eating their Wheaties, is what Cha-Cha says.
Yeah, we caught like a tiny hint in one of the previous episodes that something's up. Because when he and Diego got into a fight and Diego cut his arm.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He looks abnormally huge. Like, not just like
small, there was a lot of hair coming out of the sleeve, too.
Yeah, because Luther wears a turtleneck and a wool trench coat around because he doesn't want to show his upper body because it's full of like it's ape fur. So he hides that. He just looks really, really buff. But if you look at Tom Hopper or his actor, like he's actually really lean.
He looks like he didn't miss arm day.
Yeah, but like like without all that on him, like he's very lean.
And another thing we should bring up is the fact that the first thing when everybody shows up, Luther is like looking for clues because he suspects foul play.
He thinks that their dad was murdered.
Yeah, and turns out that was
by one of the others.
Threw away the monocle.
Yeah, because the monocle's missing, and it turns out Diego stole it and put it.
Diego didn't steal it.
Yeah, he did.
No, Grace took it, and he took it from her.
Well, by essence, he did take it then.
Yeah, fair.
But they didn't really go over in the show, but the monocle actually has a really big significance. Because the monocle isn't just your ordinary monocle. It's his ability to tell the future.
Yeah.
So that's how he could see everything that was about to happen.
Now, since you mentioned that, you'd think that he would be able to look into the future and see that Luther was his son.
Well, like you said, he didn't go into the show doesn't go into it.
Yeah.
Well, I was like I said,
it acts like that. It kind of seems
the
like
show,
they
the
are acting like
the monocle.
Yeah.
But in fact, at one point when Cha-Cha and Hazel pop in to attack 5 at the Umbrella Academy, or during the aftermath, Diego ends up having to deactivate their mom.
Yeah, she was doing a cross stitch, and he looked down, and she was just sewing her arm.
So something was clearly wrong.
Yeah.
And
Pogo tried to cheer Allison up by showing her footage, like surveillance footage from when they were kids, and also current. So she happened to see current surveillance footage of right when their dad died, and it looked like Grace did something.
Yeah.
And so they were debating. They had a family meeting, and they were debating on whether or not to turn her off because they didn't think that like there's something wrong in her programming. I mean, if we think of like the law of robotics, like thou shalt not hurt another human or harm a human. But so they were kind of debating on whether or not to shut her off.
To be fair, though, I mean, we find it out for those who've never read the comics. I mean, I certainly did, but I've looked it up. Sir Reginald isn't human.
No. They kind of hint at that in season 2.
And season 1. Because
from the other planet.
Yeah. I'm still wondering what the hell is going on with that. But it makes it seem like he's a lot older than we
I think they actually go over his age in the comics.
But,
I could be wrong. I don't know why the number 500 comes to mind, but I could definitely be wrong.
But
he's not exactly human.
and Diego has a police girlfriend. I mentioned this because she is
Eudora Patch.
Who was not in the comics.
No, I guess she was a man.
Yep. He was Detective Lupo.
And I mentioned her because she's there briefly. Klaus ends up getting kidnapped, which the scenes with Klaus kind of just not even paying attention while everybody's fighting Hazel and Cha-Cha were hilarious. And we find out that Klaus during that whole thing was kidnapped, and they're trying to torture him, and they're doing jack. Like they're not getting anything out of him, no matter what they do.
And you finally kind of control his powers a little bit. One, because he's withdrawing, so he's having a hard time because all the people are trying to talk to him. But turns out they're actually all the people that Hazel and Cha-Cha killed.
Oh, I love that came to bite them in the ass. because they started.
was able to kind of startle them by saying things that only the victims would know.
I have to ask, when it came to the to that lady, I can't remember her name. The first one that he is like, hey, says her name to freak them out, and it freaks them out a little bit.
The German woman or the?
No, I think she was Polish.
Yeah, that's right. So yeah, never mind. I don't think. Never mind on what I was thinking, because she looked. In season 2, when it came to the picture of the Swedes, all the Swedes together with their family and their mom, their mom looked so much like her.
I wouldn't be surprised if they were the same person. Like they are her sons.
As I told Rob, I actually like the Swedes.
Oh yeah, the Swedes.
I will say, like, with their introduction was interesting, and just I will say for the most part, like, to set up a character that doesn't speak at all, like for the mass majority of the show.
They use the Swedish version of "Hello" by Adele when one of them gets killed.
Oh yeah, that was actually really cool. But we're getting ahead of ourselves.
Yeah.
I know we're slowly going through this. So the
basically,
detective.
to tell everybody now, the Swedes are those that are sent to kill 5
and
the others.
The Umbrella Academy in place of Hazel and Cha-Cha.
Yeah, and
the others, though, because the others have become targets too.
The first one,
Right.
the first ones they kill are Hazel, but
yeah,
that's like near the.
Fuck that, by the way.
Huh?
Fuck that.
Well, we'll get into that. We'll get to that in a second.
All right, so where did we leave off? Klaus
Klaus
out Hazel and Cha-Cha.
He gets saved by the detective. Detective gets shot. And I will say the
Diego finds her, and then Diego gets implicated as murdering her. Well, Klaus escapes through a vent with one of their briefcases.
Oh, wait, hold on. Because we're going to be getting to this episode in a second. There's a particular episode out of all of these I really fucking hate.
Which one?
The time travel FU freaking scene or episode. It's when because at one point we'll when we get to it, there's a after the whole thing, 5 end up trying to trick, or 5 and Luther end up trying to trick Hazel and Cha-Cha. And I guess at the same time,
because Klaus, they are missing their briefcase, and they need their briefcase. Otherwise, they're fucked.
We need to mention that because Klaus took the briefcase and goes back in time to Vietnam.
He doesn't intentionally go back in time to Vietnam. He thinks that there's money in the case or anything that he can sell for drugs.
Yeah.
And so when he opens it up, he ends up accidentally trying time traveling. And he ended up during the Vietnam War.
Yep.
Where he ends up falling in love with a soldier named Dave.
Oh, boy.
And then comes back and he has PTSD because Dave got killed.
Oh, and then just the confusing points of that where he goes into...
This is a confusing show because it has a bunch of different time paradoxes.
Well, it's like not just that, but...
it's like the Zero skip in Netflix.
There's a point where Diego's with him, and Diego follows him into a bar for veterans.
Veterans bar.
Yeah, and the veterans are kind of confused, thinking he's not a veteran, and Klaus starts some shit with them. And in the pictures, you see him and a bunch of other soldiers. Were they soldiers or Marines?
They were Marines. Well, some of them was Marines.
Army.
Because
it's just various veterans.
Yeah.
Across the entire board.
Well, I was saying in the picture for the Vietnam picture, because I was under the impression that it was the Army.
It's either Marines or the Army Rangers.
Army.
Yeah, because in season 2, they make it out like he was signed up for the Marines.
It's essentially the same thing.
Yeah, the Marines is just another branch of the military.
Unless time paradox. And his uncle send him to another branch of the military.
Possibly.
So yeah, Klaus has PTSD now. And he fell in love with one of the soldiers named Dave. And Dave got killed. And so he comes back, and he's not necessarily battle-hardened. He's just unemotional.
Torn. He's torn.
And he wants, because of his ability to talk to the dead, he really wants to talk to Dave, but he hasn't been able to.
By the way, the first interaction with Five automatically realizes what's going on with Klaus.
Because it's one of the side effects.
Yeah, he's displaying some of the side effects when using the suitcase.
But Klaus really wants to talk to Dave, and he's unable to. And the thing is, his sobriety also affects his effectiveness to talk with the dead.
So his only option, because he had to do it anyways, because everybody's been wanting him to become sober so he can talk to Sir Reginald.
Yep.
And what ends up happening next is Diego and Klaus are going off to try to take down Hazel and Cha-Cha. Luther...
An ice cream truck.
Oh, yeah, the ice cream truck. Because Luther and Five are going to fake a deal with...
Yeah, because it turns out
so
that
Luther and Five basically contact Hazel and Cha-Cha saying that we have your briefcase, but meet us somewhere. We'll give it back to you if you contact the handler.
Which they do.
And real quick to explain why they are doing that. When Klaus got back, he immediately, because of what happened in Vietnam, broke the briefcase.
Yeah.
And the briefcase is what allows members of the commission to time travel.
Yeah. Also, can I just say, nice touch with the song they used for
Light of the Valkyrie.
Yep. For the ice cream truck.
Love how they started off
because Diego and Klaus aren't there to. They
horn.
were part of that deal. They wanted to kill Hazel and Cha-Cha because of them killing Eudora.
And thanks to Klaus and Diego, all hell breaks loose. And I guess the handler has some kind of is able to freeze time.
The handler is also played by Kate Walsh. She was known in Grey's Anatomy.
Oh, okay. But yeah, she stops time to talk to
Five
and make a new deal with him where he won't be a field agent, but rather somebody who works in office.
In management.
And the only reason she did that was because she wanted to control him.
And she had said that she would leave the rest of the family members alone if he made a deal with her.
Yeah, she would try to make it to where they would survive. They would all survive the apocalypse. So.
I'm calling bullshit because, even with the time freezed, you saw like all the bullets. She didn't say anything. And what ended up happening was you see, like, before they take off, Five is taking that opportunity to move bullets, dismember their guns, and freaking...
Yeah, he dismembers the gun, tosses it aside to two separate sides of
moves
the road.
The bullet that goes towards Luke.
Mm-hmm. Right before he was like, all right, let's go. He's like, oh.
Yeah,
he forgot about the bullet.
Yeah.
We should also mention that any messages that are being sent to members of the commission are sent through a
tube system.
Like how it is at like banks, where you deposit money and it goes up the tubes. So, and that's controlled by certain people in the commission. And so Five, he makes this deal, but he has an ulterior motive.
Well, yeah.
By trying to
I also get the feeling he
room.
knew that she was full of shit.
Yeah. And he also sent out messages to both Hazel and Cha-Cha separately saying to kill each other. Because, according to Hazel and Cha-Cha think it's because that they screwed up and they botched the job on killing 5.
And I'm going to say that this, because I can't remember which particular episode we're talking about now, this is the one I hated. Because while 5's gone, everybody kind of has
a very big groundbreaking moment, as far as character development goes.
Every single one of them. Klaus, he gets sobriety.
And he gets to see Dave.
No, that's later on.
No. It's in this episode.
Is it?
Yeah, because this is before the rewrite.
Or is this when he gets tied up?
This is when he gets tied up.
This is when he's tied up by Diego.
And this is a big middle finger to everybody who wants something good for these characters. Luther and Allison have a really touching moment.
Is that the dance one?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. For some reason, I'm thinking it's later on in the season.
Diego reunites.
Wait, they didn't dance in the park before the rewrite. This was them hanging out in the house.
No, it was before the rewrite.
Wait, a rewrite?
Oh, yeah. So basically,
The time rewrite.
So what ends up happening? So 5 is at the commission.
Because no, that.
I'm
Klaus-
thinking like the show was rewritten.
No.
Klaus-
Okay, got
No,
it.
Because Luther and Allison were just hanging out around the house and have their moment.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. I'm also having a hard time hearing too, like I said before. So I'm trying my best. Like I have everything turned up all the way, but I'm still having a hard time hearing. It's not your guys, it's my ear issue.
So 5 is in the commission. Klaus tries to get sobriety, gets himself tied up by Diego, and left in the basement.
Asked Diego to tie him up, so he wouldn't escape and go try to get drugs.
Oh no, he tried. Well, he had to use the bathroom, and then the second time, he's trying to make excuses for not getting clean. And Diego just ties him up and leaves him.
Yeah.
Actually, leaves him a bucket in case he has to either puke.
All purpose.
Yeah. I think that's exactly what he said.
Yeah.
Luther and Allison, they kind of express their feelings for each other. Vanya, in this moment,
is pissed because of how she was just treated during
not
the meeting.
only that, but she found the book, like near the end of the episode before everything's rewritten. She found the fucking book that talked about where Hargreaves talked about her powers
At Leonard's house or Leonard's grandma's.
Yeah.
Yep.
And Diego, on his way out of the house after leaving Klaus,
is reunited with Grace.
yeah, Grace has been rebooted by Pogo.
Oh,
and they're in the park, and she's about to tell him the truth.
Well, because Pogo's like, you understand what's going on? She goes, yes. And he's like, you understand that we cannot say anything to them? She's like, yes, but she wants to say something. And so she pulls Diego out and says, I need to talk to you. And they go outside because she was never allowed outside before.
Yeah.
And so she pulls him aside and says, I got to tell you something. And then, the rewrite. Okay, I got you.
Yeah, because
Like I said, the plot is really, it's complex.
Yeah, because the whole time, like, while 5 was in the commission, he ended up sending those things and is confronted by the handler.
And he's like trying to find any info he can about who causes the apocalypse.
And he manages to get away from her by
blowing her up.
Yeah, by blowing her up, then grabs a briefcase and
blows up the other suitcases.
Yeah. And then goes back to the point in time where they were holding the meeting, and it just changes the whole thing.
Yeah.
Him being there at the meeting.
I'm not particularly happy with episodes like that because because it sets up all this growth, and I hate when shows do that where you have all this growth for the characters and then just rewrite the events as if all that didn't happen.
Yeah.
It really,
To be honest, though, if that did end up like staying, the apocalypse, there would have been no stopping it.
yeah, and especially, well, I will admit that because Allison and Luther, they were going to go on the plane to back to where Allison lives.
Mhm.
Klaus,
Yeah.
I have a feeling Klaus would have died in the basement because nobody would have been around to untie him. Diego would have been the only one to know about Vanya, if anything, or what was going on.
He probably would have been incarcerated.
Yeah, I mean he still was after the rewrite, but thanks to a fellow cop, he was able to.
Because again, everyone believes that Diego killed Eudora.
Yeah.
Even though he was the one who found her, but too late.
Yeah. So after that, we're slowly getting more of a understanding with, or at least Vanya is getting more interaction with her powers. And I think the craziest,
And Leonard is slowly showing signs that he's unhinged.
as well as manipulation.
Well, because this whole time Vanya was considered or wanting to be better at violin, get first chair. And she got it.
Oh,
But
she get it.
Leonard killed the current first chair.
Yep.
And when they had sex, or Vanya and Leonard, the other woman was up in his attic.
I thought that was dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a body.
But no, I'm also talking about when they go on a date. They're at the what was it? They go to that diner, and when they're about to leave, you have the three guys. Was it three?
Three.
The three guys hanging around his truck, and it turns out that was all staged.
Leonard set that up to try to get Vanya's powers to come out.
Yep. Leonard gets the crap beat out of him by these three guys. Vanya loses control, and I guess
does a whole sonic blast kind of thing, and ends up knocking two of the guys out and killing them.
Yep.
The other guy's in the hospital.
Yep.
And so Allison is trying, slowly figuring all this stuff out, and so she's trying to follow them there because she finds out, because this whole time, 5 has this note. It says protect Harold Jenkins. Or the commission has this note saying protect Harold Jenkins, and everyone's trying to figure out who the hell Harold Jenkins is.
And Diego, due to a contact he has at the precinct, finds out that Harold Jenkins is a fake name. Or no, Leonard Peabody.
No, Allison figured that out.
Yeah, because they get the mugshot, and it's...
Yeah, they stole his case file.
Yeah.
And Harold Jenkins is Leonard.
Yeah.
But Harold Jenkins he was also born on the same day as all the other kids.
But via a regular pregnancy.
I don't know if he actually truly believed that he was one of them, or he wanted to believe he was one of them.
Yeah, he wanted...
Because his dad, he had an abusive dad.
Yeah, because his mom passed away after childbirth.
And so he had confronted them when they were younger, saying he confronted Reggie and was like, hey, I'm one of you. And he's like, no, there's nothing ordinary. There's nothing special about you. Go away.
And this caused him to go into a psychotic rage.
Yeah. And so he was obsessed with essentially getting back at everyone at the Umbrella Academy.
Yep.
He ends up stealing the one figure that he didn't have in his collection, which was the one of Reggie.
Oh, when they find his shrine, they base it all the figures are melted.
Mm-hmm.
Except for Sir Reginald's.
And so he wants to get back at them, and that's why he figured that he'd get it through with Vanya, because Vanya was the one that was kind of outcast.
Yeah,
I think he felt like he could relate to her.
And shortly after being turned down by Reginald the way he was, his dad abused him again, like
So
uh,
badly that he ended up killing him.
Yeah,
He ended up killing his father.
yeah, and spent 12 years, if memory serves, in prison.
Yeah, and so he was recently released.
And Harold was the one that found the book.
That
And
tossed her away for drugs.
yeah,
Threw out the box, and so he found the book in the dumpster.
And with that, he hunted down Vanya to try to manipulate her to unlocking her powers.
Yep, that way you could try and use her powers to get back at the academy.
And then Allison was catching wind of this because of him seeing so weird and tried warning Vanya. Vanya was just like, why aren't you happy for me? Why can't I just be happy? You were just trying to ruin my life and don't talk to me anymore. And then so Allison does a little more digging and finds out that his real name was Harold Jenkins, and she goes out and he has a property or his grandmother's house out in the woods, which is where he took Vanya. And she tries to warn her again, and Vanya is really upset, doesn't want to believe anything. And then Allison tries to rumor her. And Vanya was like, oh, you guys just didn't want me to be like stand out because I'm the most powerful one, kind of thing. And then ends up accidentally slitting Allison's throat.
Yep.
And then Harold comes back and sees Vanya. Vanya's just losing it. And he's like, we gotta go. And he like takes her out of the house.
And leaves.
And all the other guys are starting to catch up or kind of figure out what's going on. And then
wait.
find Allison.
When he first saw Allison's body on the floor, he actually looked ecstatic.
Yeah. We need it. Before we go any further, because the reason we should talk about the reason why nobody else was with Allison. One thing, like before the rewrite, there's an emotional moment where Luther is trying to find the moon samples that he sent Sir Reginald.
Oh yeah.
And it turns out
he thought he was doing great work up in the moon.
Father of the Year, he never opened them.
Yep. He just put him up in the moon just to put him up the moon.
Yep. He put him on the moon to leave him there.
And so he finds this out. He confronts Pogo. Pogo says it's true. And Luther goes to Klaus asking to find drugs.
Well, and like this is like, and that's like after the rewrite. Which,
well, yeah, but still, it's same episode.
He wants to be numb. He doesn't want to feel anything.
And Klaus is like, you don't need to do that. And he's like, well, fine, I'll go myself.
Which I applaud Klaus for doing that.
And Luther finds this rave party and he ends up taking acid.
And Ben is trying to just kind of keep Klaus in the straight and narrow this entire time.
Yeah, the guy, number 6, the one who died.
Yeah, and Klaus is not going through it very well. With him going through his
withdrawal sucks.
Yeah, all the noise, all the freaking lights, everything. It's messing.
Klaus follows Luther to this rave.
Yeah,
to try to stop him.
And at one point, during the rave, Luther gets knocked, Klaus gets knocked unconscious. And really interesting moment, which I gotta ask, the little girl on the bike, were they trying to make it out like she was God?
Yeah. It was like this very French noir scene. It was all black and white.
I'm just thinking to myself, like, because she says something like, I don't like you.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck? If this is God, then what the fuck?
And then she directs him to this like house area or this building.
Yeah.
And he thinks that it's to go meet Dave.
Yeah. Turns out, no.
It's Reggie.
It's his dad.
And of course, he's just like, well, it took you so long. And just like admonishing him for it.
And freaking Klaus is calling out on some of his shit. And oh my gosh. And he brings up he brings what's his name? Reggie brings up what happened to him. The fact that plot twist, he killed himself.
Yeah. Grace didn't kill him. No one murdered him. He killed himself in order to be able to get the kids all together to stop the apocalypse.
To be fair, Pogo reprogrammed her because I guess she is programmed for first aid if something were to happen to any of them. And Pogo reprogrammed her so if he was having a heart attack, she couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
No matter what. So he after
Reggie's whole mission on Earth is to save the world.
Yeah.
And he believes those kids are the ones that are able to do it.
Yeah. And with that last scene, or like one of the last scenes with him, especially with that whole Klaus thing, I start to think like, yeah, he's an asshole dad, but he was just trying to do what he could to freaking, prepare them. Kind of like
they're in a barber shop.
Yeah. He's all going off about how Klaus looks, how he hasn't been taking care of himself.
And he shaves Klaus.
Oh, not only that, but he's freaking belittling him about the freaking the fact that he pretty much
Liam.
Yeah, and he dirtied his body. I think that was the words. He dirtied his body with drugs and chemicals to pollute his powers.
Yeah.
And he talks about how with sobriety, he can do so much more than what he's capable of. And
he's
sure enough,
powerful when he's sober.
Yeah. I mean, when we first see him, he's only tapping into the surface of his powers, where he sees the dead. I mean, as near the end of the first season, it turns out, no, he can do so much more. He can manifest the dead.
And he manages to bring Ben out to be able to fight.
Yeah, and then there was that brief moment where Ben punches him, and it actually lands a hit.
Yeah.
I love that they go more into his powers in season 2. But yeah, like
Allison, why she was left alone.
Yeah, and that's why Allison was left alone. Diego was also caught by the police. And thanks to a buddy of his, he was let go.
And Allison was able to escape.
Yeah. Diego tries to gather up Klaus, Five, and Luther, being the last one. First, kind of not wanting to go, but when he mentions Allison might be in danger, I love how he says, "Why did you lead with that?"
Yeah.
And gets in the car. That's my question. Like, yeah, why didn't you lead with that?
Because they're at a bowling alley. Because they decided to meet up at the bowling alley.
No, it was the bar or the pub. Remember? Because this is Luther's still upset about the moon thing.
Oh, in the house?
Yeah.
Where Pi was making margaritas?
No, that's after.
Oh, okay.
That's
like
after.
Everything is so confusing.
I have everything implanted in my brain.
Yeah, I haven't seen season 1, or I watched season 1 again.
I watched
a couple episodes, but
yeah, I watched it recently, so I had all the.
It's more fresh in your mind than it is in mine.
Plus, again, I have a memory warehouse when it comes to movies and stuff, so it's usually ingrained. So,
so Allison is going to get Vanya. Vanya ends up slitting her throat. Vanya leaves with Leonard. The guards find Allison.
Leonard takes out Vanya, leaving Allison to die. And like maybe not long after they left, all the rest of them show up to save Allison. Allison is taken back to the Umbrella Academy, and they Pogo and Grace try to save her life. Now I like this moment where they're all like, okay, who's gonna give her blood? Klaus is like, I'll do it. Like, no, you're full of drugs. You're not going to give her your blood. And Luther's like, fine, give her my blood. And Pogo's like, I don't think that's a good idea. I mean, your blood is more keen to mine.
Yeah.
And then Diego's like, okay, give her my blood.
And Diego's scared of needles.
Yeah, Diego is definitely scared of needles.
He faints.
As soon as he sees the needle, he faints, and all Pogo says is stick him. Which I'm like, I don't know how I feel about that to some extent, considering they did that while he was unconscious.
I think that's better that they did it when he was unconscious, and rather than him going and fainting again, hurting himself while he was awake. I used to almost do the same thing as him with needles. Now it's not that big of a deal.
Or better yet, pulling a Goku.
You and your Dragon Ball references that I don't understand.
Goku is definitely scared of needles.
Okay, thank you for the clarification. Whenever you guys talk about Dragon Ball, I immediately dip out just because I'm like, I don't know what you're saying.
Well,
there's so much to catch up on.
It makes sense with what we were just talking about.
Fair.
So,
but I don't know the full context.
So Allison, which I'm gonna say, the thing that was like one of the later scenes after that event, that is so fucking creepy. Vanya is covered in blood, and
girl's wiping her down.
Yeah, I'm like, and like kind of manipulating her, telling her what to say. I'm like, I feel dirty just watching this.
Mm-hmm.
This is so fucking wrong.
Like, she's still in shock.
Yeah.
Like, she's not mad or anything. She's in shock.
She thinks she killed her sister. That's the one thought that's going into her head right now.
Spoiler alert. I mean, Allison lives, but she can't talk.
Yeah, throughout the last part of season 1, she can't talk.
Yeah, she has to write everything down.
Yeah. In fact, when she wakes up, the first thing she writes, Vanya has powers.
Mm-hmm.
And Luther doesn't believe it till Pogo, and Luther is on the fence when it comes to Pogo because Pogo tells everybody that he knew that Sir Reginald was going to kill himself.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't tell them. And Pogo
didn't tell Luther about the moon either.
And as I mentioned, Pogo is kind of like the surrogate father of them. And he was the one person, like one of the two people that they could trust. And for Luther, he broke his trust twice. And then now finding out that Vanya has powers.
Mm-hmm. And because of Luther's connection to Allison, like, he's in love with her. He immediately, like, once he finds this out, he's in disbelief. He also wants to get rid of Vanya.
Well, it's like, at first, it's like not. I don't think want to get rid of Vanya, but
he wants to protect Allison.
Yeah, and he does it probably in the worst way possible.
But before that, Vanya ends up finding out about Leonard.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to say this. I don't care for Leonard. Fuck Leonard. He deserved what he got.
Yeah, she ended up using her powers against him and, like, took every sharp object in the house and threw it at him, like, with her powers. And so he was brutally murdered.
Diego, like, later on, Diego, 5, and Klaus go out to try to find Vanya and think that the first place they're probably going to check is Leonard's house. And yeah, they find him. And it turns out that the prosthetic eye that 5's been carrying around was supposed to be for him.
Because when he got into that accident at the diner with the 3 guys, he ended up losing his eye. And so he was supposed to have a prosthetic eye made.
Yep. And that was the one that they made for him.
So that's why the whole order was protect Harold Jenkins, because Leonard was Harold Jenkins.
Exactly. And Vanya, after escaping Leonard, goes to the Umbrella Academy. And
before that, we should talk about Hazel and Cha-Cha. Or is that?
Oh, yeah, we were talking about them. So, freaking A. Yeah.
So Hazel and Cha-Cha get the order to kill each other. And they go out in the woods, and they look like they're going to kill each other, but then they decide, no,
it looks like
I don't want to be a part of it anymore.
Well, at first, it looks like Cha-Cha is going to kill Hazel.
Yeah.
Which Hazel, or Hazel knew something was up. In fact, I think it was made apparent, which I wish it was like it wasn't.
I'm just tying my shoe.
Click. Like I would have been questioned if I heard that doesn't sound like a shoe.
Because also, Hazel had fallen in love with Agnes, the donut lady, and he wants them to go away.
And to kind of stop Cha-Cha, he makes this whole speech, like kind of referencing something that Agnes said earlier on about birds and them living their own lives. And I guess he sees a bird in the woods, and he describes it in detail about how it lives.
Well, because Agnes talked about how birds are so simplistic in their lives. Like when they eat, they eat. When they're hungry, they eat. If they're horny, they fuck. If they that whole thing, they're free.
Yeah, they're free. And Hazel kind of starts wanting that. He wants the freedom. And near the end of during this, it was like between two episodes where this was going on. And we in one episode we get one side of the story, and the other we get the other side, where after the woods, Cha-Cha and them show back up at the hotel they're staying, and Hazel
or motel.
Hazel takes off, claiming he's going to go get food. Cha-Cha follows him and finds out that he went to go see Agnes. And later on, Cha-Cha decides, and I think they were trying to make it out like there was more than a partnership with both.
Yeah, it seemed like the Cha-Cha had a thing for Hazel a little bit.
She was kind of,
she was jealous.
Well, it's like not just jealous, but she wasn't a good friend.
No, because Hazel just didn't. He thought that the commission was oppressive.
Yeah,
and Cha-Cha just didn't want to cause any trouble or make waves, because she felt like if they did that, they would go after them and kill themselves. And so she felt like that Hazel lying to her and going to Agnes was like them, like him fucking up everything.
Yeah,
like that they're going to be killed because of him. And so she also felt betrayed, and so she said that she was going to kill him and her, or her in front of him, or Agnes in front of him.
So, what happens next is later on, Cha-Cha comes back to the hotel, and it turns out, kind of like Cha-Cha, because she got this order to kill Hazel. Apparently, while going to a vending machine, Hazel got the same order, but it was for him to kill Cha-Cha. So Cha-Cha, after Hazel taking off, comes back to the hotel. Hazel's already back, and it seems like he's taking a shower. She barges in, shoots the curtain, thinking he's down, only to pull the curtain and reveal the note that Hazel got. And
then Hazel knocks her out.
Yep, and handcuffs her to the
radiator.
The radiator. And he kind of gives this speech about how, they've both been working together, but he wants a better life for himself. And she pretty much says, if you leave me alive, I'm going to kill you. And that's basically what he does. He leaves her. He doesn't want to kill her. He just wants to live.
And then he asks Agnes to take off and close down her shop and start over somewhere else and go bird watching.
Which, when Cha-Cha gets out, the first thing she does is burns down the donut shop.
Yep.
Oh, wait. We forgot to talk about something I forgot to mention, which I think is kind of a fun scene. Kind of backpedaling a little bit. Because
it's funny backpedaling in a story about time paradoxes. Go for it.
The scene when Hazel and Cha-Cha burned down the pharmaceutical company.
Oh, yeah. Because they were also drugs.
Prior to that, they were torturing Klaus, and they found a bar of chocolate. And I love that Ben's like, you are going to tell them those are edibles, right? And you're like, only if they ask.
No, they're like, Ben asked, you're not going to tell them that's special chocolate? Like, no, I want them high as a kite.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
They ended up going to the prosthetic company that
Made the eye.
house that 5 were at earlier, and they burn it down, so 5 can't get any information about it.
Yeah.
But there's like a dance scene,
Which that was so great. And then
and it's them just destroying the whole place, and it's really funny.
they left evidence though. The one of the ears for Cha-Cha's mask got burned off.
Yeah, and then they left a note on Five's van that he was watching the pharmaceutical company from. And that's how Eudora Patch found out where they were.
Say hi to your brother or something like that.
Yep.
But she thought it was about. There was a misunderstanding. I forget who it was about, though. Hey. Sorry, JR just got home. But, so, Cha-Cha's handcuffed to a radiator. Hazel takes off the magnets.
Yep. Cha-Cha, when she escapes, burns the place to the ground, the donut shop to the ground, and goes to hunt down Hazel.
Leonard, or Harold, is dead. Allison just had a blood transfusion and her throat patched up. Can't talk.
Yep.
Vanya goes back to the Umbrella Academy to apologize.
And gets put in a sleeper hold by Luther.
Luther is like, oh, it's okay. Just give me a hug. And he ends up just doing a, well.
That's a hard scene to watch, especially with the fact that
he was trying to slaughter her, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was hard to watch.
Yeah, because as she's trying to like escape his clutches, you see like everything starting to shake, like everything, like the whole place, kind of like her powers reacting to her emotional, like her emotional responses to what was going on. And when she wakes up, where she's at, her worst nightmare, which is basically
I fucking hate that scene
where she's back in the freaking
and everyone's arguing about her.
She can't even hear it too.
Yeah, it's a soundproof chamber in the basement. And
everyone's arguing about letting her
will
out.
not let her out. Allison wants her out. Everyone else wants her out.
Yeah,
Luther's like, no.
Diego and freaking Klaus are like, no, let her out. I mean, if it was just if it was bad to have her in there the first time, just imagine what it's doing to her now.
Yep.
And boy, does it fuck her up.
Well, because they find out that she is the cause of the apocalypse.
Well, not yet.
No, they did. Five found out before.
No. After she goes crazy. After she goes crazy, they find out.
Oh, yeah.
Because what ends up happening is after they kill Harold, Five thinks they stopped the apocalypse.
That's right.
Which they also that's where, because you were talking about the margarita scene, that's when Hazel shows up and tells them, I'm done. And
Diego shows up, attacks him.
Yeah, but freaking.
Well, because Hazel gives Five evidence to exonerate Diego.
Yeah, but
and then Diego shows up and attacks him.
Diego and Hazel are both like, "You gonna help with this?" Like, no,
I know,
but by all means, go ahead, fight it out. I'm wanting to hear what he has to say, but go right ahead.
No, there was a line. Oh, I'm trying to remember. I think it was Diego. Diego bites Hazel.
Yeah, and that's when Five steps in, knocks him over the freaking head with the freaking
pitcher.
Yeah.
He's like,
I'd rather line at biting.
Yeah. And both Hazel and Five, I think there's a mutual respect at this point with Five and Hazel.
Right.
Between the two of them. So when
awesome.
Hazel grew as a character. I like this.
Big time.
I was mad in season 2.
Oh yeah. I mean, we only get like a brief idea of how his life went.
He was literally on screen for a minute.
Yeah. Vanya, after the whole interaction with Hazel, Vanya has been captured and put in the chamber, and there's a point where she loses it. She
hears her younger self talking to her.
Yeah, and she is now under the impression that, they are afraid of her. They have tried to put her down.
Whereas the only one
and was about to perform a concert that night.
Yeah.
Whereas the only one really afraid of her is Luther.
Oh, can we take a break for a second? Because I gotta let the dogs out for a second.
All right.
Sure.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I was expecting y'all to be talking about season 2 by now with how long it's gone.
I know. I was about to say, hey, watch the show if you want to know the plot.
Eh.
I mean, because it's so complicated.
It is.
It's a really good show, though. So I apologize to those watching if you are bored. But it is fun to talk about because, I mean, I'm just happy to talk about it with somebody. But I'm going to change the title for this real quick to instead of just being blank. All right.
Oh my goodness, though. So many good characters. Like, I'm gonna go ahead and say it now, even though we're technically taking a break. Whenever it came to Diego shutting off his mom, and then the next episode at the end of episode 3, and then at the end of episode 4, losing Eudora, it's just like I felt so sorry for the guy. At first, I hated his guts.
Yeah. He was kind of an asshole, not gonna lie.
He honestly, looking back at it, he was kind of like Raphael from TMNT.
I was wondering if somebody was gonna make that reference.
Well, I can't say was. He is.
Yeah. They were exes, and they were finally getting to the point where, like, it wasn't just resentment or one-sided.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they weren't going to get back together, but they were actually working together. And then she dies. And no, Vegan, I have not watched Dragon Ball. So whenever you guys make those silly little references, I dip out because I have no idea what you're talking about. Because I feel dumb trying to contribute.
I'm sorry.
No, it's not your guys' fault. That's why, like, for this, I didn't want to start this discussion until you've watched the episodes.
Yeah.
But yeah, what was the other thing I was going to bring up too that Rob didn't? Shit. You can think you can hold out. Shit. I was going to bring up something. There was something that we didn't... Oh, the fact that Diego has a stutter.
Yeah.
Because Diego was at first the one that did not want Grace to be shut off. Because he views Grace as a mother figure. Like, she was very caring towards him, and he has a speech impediment. And he stutters. And while Reggie obviously wasn't going to be providing any sort of emotional support to him, she did. She helped him feel confident and be able to speak properly, but whenever he gets really, really stressed out, he stutters. And so, the whole discussion of turning Grace off, like, he wasn't for it. But he ended up being the one that turned her off because of the fact that she was sewing into her arm and shit, and seemed like when the whole fight at the academy, when Hazel and Cha-Cha first arrived there trying to shoot up the place.
I'm surprised she didn't get hit by a single bullet.
What's that?
I'm surprised she didn't get hit by a single bullet.
I don't think any of her paintings got hurt either. Like, because he wanted to make sure, like, that she felt something, anything, because that was going to be his determinant of whether or not to shut her off. And he's like, do you feel anything for Dad? You had to have hated him because he didn't even give you a room. He wouldn't even let you outside. And she's like, no, like, he's an Olympic gold medalist and he's a very bright individual. And he's like, just stop it. And she's like, why would I need a room when I have all these paintings in front of me? Like,
Okay, I'm
I
back.
see all the scenery here.
Welcome back.
What did I miss?
No, we're just talking about.
We're talking about some things that we forgot to mention, like Grace and Diego with his speech impediment.
Oh yeah, because like as we were talking about, he had a strong connection with.
We were talking about his whole thing about shutting her off.
Yeah, he even ended up asking her if she was okay, and she's like, "Yeah, why wouldn't I be?" You didn't hear any of what was going on? We almost died out there.
And it was hard for him.
Yeah.
Like, because they would go through a cutscene before, like they were getting their kids and they're getting ready to go on a mission, and they were kind of freaking out trying to get ready, and Grace is like helping them all and being supportive and everything. So that's in Diego's mind, like, because he was helping her, or she was helping him with a speech impediment, like sound it out, because he was trying to say don't move.
Yeah. Oh, that actually brings up the fact that he has to watch her die twice. Oh gosh. He
was just bringing up how he had to see Eudora die and also see Grace die.
Yeah. No, for Grace, it was twice that he had to watch her die.
Yeah, but I mean, fuck. Like whenever, like before the rewrite happened, the time rewrite. They like when he first saw her before the rewrite, he was talking to her and was like, "Is everything okay? Like, do you remember what happened?" And behind him, Pogo was watching from behind a secret staircase or a secret bookcase.
Yeah.
As if, like, don't say anything.
Yeah. Like, yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah,
I changed the title of the podcast to make it as the Umbrella Academy's discussion.
Yeah, I'll do that. Hold on.
No, I already did it.
Oh, okay. But so going back to what we were talking about. So Vanya, she loses it and kind of gives in to using her power, kind of losing herself with her power, and she
blows up the fucking
going through
wall.
goes. Yep. And how does she do it, or how does she does it?
Sound of her own heartbeat.
Exactly. Which, again, just goes to show how useless the freaking chamber was.
Well, I mean, a kid wouldn't think of that.
I know, but like near the end, it became useless.
Yeah.
Because Luther and them thought that was going to help, but sure enough, no. Now she knows how to use her power.
And this is where she becomes the white violin.
Yep.
I'm glad that we didn't.
Her eyes are glowing and shit.
Well, it's like not just it's not just her eyes.
Like it's her whole body that turns white.
Yeah.
Including her outfit and the violin she uses.
Well, that doesn't happen till
like near the end.
Yeah.
But she destroys all their bedrooms.
Yeah, she's just going like walking through the house, blowing up everything.
And I want to point out that when that whole like flashback scene of them like getting ready for that mission, do you notice that Vanya's room was the smallest?
I did actually.
Like all the other rooms had like decorations and shit. Like hers didn't really have anything at all.
Good lord.
So that's why.
The only good thing she got from Reginald was the violin.
Which
turns out to be a keepsake from when he was married, before he went to Earth.
Yep. He yeah, actually going into that for a quick second, he this was a violin from his wife who
was dying.
I was gonna say, can we assume like is from his home planet?
Yeah. Well, because you look out the balcony, it's completely different than Earth.
And plus, like you see these rockets, they're flying into space, and
Mhm.
Yeah, I think the planet's dying, or there's some kind of apocalypse going on there.
and he unleashes some kind of like fireflies, which
Yeah, and I think those are the things that go into the mothers. That's my
Well-
that's my guess.
well, another thing too. Those things are brought back in season 2.
Oh,
What?
We'll get to that in a second, and I'll explain it. Because
welcome to the strain, Nanovapor.
hello,
What the fuck is this Borefest? Hey, what's up?
hello.
Right?
So Vanya is destroying the entire house. Kills Pogo.
In a fucked up way too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, right after asking,
Silent Night, Deadly Night with the deer.
right after asking Pogo, did you know the entire time?
And he did.
Yep.
So bye
And
bye.
even-
Pogo.
Yep. And even then, even with him telling the truth, he still died. So there, everybody's able to escape, and this is when 5 realizes, no, the apocalypse is still on, and realizes that no, Harold wasn't the bomb that starts it.
Yeah,
He was the fuse, and he pretty much makes it out that Vanya has been the bomb the entire time.
Dun dun dun.
Yep. In fact, they kind of go into this in the season 2 where Vanya will always be the bomb.
He goes to her concert and plays.
And everything seems fine at first. I mean, nobody.
Yeah, I mean, they're even like, okay, we got to watch this.
Well, it's like, nobody. I'm surprised. Like nobody, like in the concert, remarks like, "Why is her eyes glowing? Why do they appear like a pure blue color? Why is her
If
skin
you
white?"
like a violin, you're kind of looking down at your bow.
Well, I mean, with her walking inside the concert hall, nobody asked this question. Like, should we be concerned or something?
I mean, no one dies then. I don't think they're immediately thinking, "Oh, her eyes are blue, death."
And before the concert, everybody meets at the bowling alley. And it turns out more assassins are actually these assassins are dressed a lot differently. They're like elite soldiers,
gas masks and shit. Gas
and
mask type.
it's funny that we get these characters, but we don't get them back in season 2.
I did like the fact that they were consistent that they wore bowling shoes in season 2 when they arrived in 1960 or the 1960s.
Yeah.
You're welcome, Nano Vapor. Also, they say bring back Breaking Bad. I have never seen the show.
Neither have I. But I guess during the bowling alley, 5 is called, and spoiler alert: Cha-Cha found Hazel and Agnes, and is about to kill Agnes when time freezes and the handler shows up.
Because, surprise, she's still alive.
Which, I'm thinking to myself, why isn't she dead?
After being blown up with a rocket launcher.
Like right in front of her, blown up by. I thought
All she has is a fucking scar on her face.
I thought it was a grenade. I'm pretty sure it was a
It was a grenade.
Yeah, like it was. She was like a foot away from the grenade.
Regardless, even if it was a rocket launcher, she probably would have still fucking survived.
Mhm. They can remake bodies after all.
I don't know, but I mean, she kept saying that, but I'm still thinking she's full of shit. And she's summoned by the handler to
AJ would say differently, but okay.
who?
AJ.
AJ.
The fish.
Oh, we'll get to him in a second. I will say, like, for villain designs, he's actually probably my favorite.
For sure.
That's what I initially wanted to do for Magi's avatar.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
But anyway, so she's back at the house. Handler's at the hotel. she tells Hazel and Cha-Cha that, oh, they weren't supposed to kill each other and they didn't do anything wrong, but basically she's there to try to lure 5 over there.
Well, it's like at first, because she's just as confused as they are about the order, and that's when she realizes that 5 freaking set it up so that way they can both kill each other.
Yeah. Like,
So-
tell you what.
All the kids are being shot at the bowling alley, and then 5 ends up teleports to the hotel or the motel. Not the one that Hazel and Cha-Cha were staying at, but the one that hit, or the little fucking honeymoon suite at the motel that Hazel got for Agnes.
Oh,
The heart-shaped hot tub and everything, or the bed.
Can I mention a rumor that I heard? Or at least a theory for the show. So the handler briefly mentions in one of the early episodes that throughout time, they have agents that are set in that particular time. Now, there's a character that keeps popping up in the episodes, is this one heavyset lady. And the last time that we see her, she's at a birthday party. Around the same time where all of the characters are about to get shot up. So one theory was that this lady was actually an agent for the commission.
Wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
Almost every scene that that shows her, she's with either one or all of the members of the. In fact, the bank scene where it's like the debut for the Umbrella Academy. She's one of the prisoners.
Yeah.
So, food for thought.
There has been one scene where she showed up, but that was season 2, where there wasn't an Umbrella Academy character. One of the members of the Umbrella Academy, I should say.
But
We might need to kind of speed things up a little bit.
Yeah.
I think we're starting to bore the chat.
okay.
So
But
basically, Handler is trying to get 5 over to that hotel and then makes another deal with them. I forgot what the deal was, though.
Likewise.
I think it was just to let the apocalypse happen and to go with her. But he realizes she's full of shit right away and realizes that the only reason that she invited him over
Was to distract him.
was to distract him.
So
yeah,
he
because she
did-
gave Cha-Cha and Hazel one last mission saying,
Kill the rest of the family.
protect Vanya.
Yep.
Protect Vanya, and you, Hazel, can stay here with your donut lady
if you kill Cha-Cha.
in whatever time.
And Cha-Cha can be reassigned. Well,
Yeah.
And Hazel also knew that she was full of shit, because guess what Hazel does? As they're about to, follow Vanya, Hazel, realizing that Cha-Cha doesn't have her seatbelt on, floors the freaking and then hits a barrier, making Cha-Cha fly out of the car.
Yep. He should have finished the job, but
I'm going to say this. I would also have assumed that she was dead.
fair point.
I mean, not a lot of people survive, flying out of the windshield of a car after you went on a full-on collision into a freaking cement barrier. Usually the one notion is the person's dead.
I mean, hell, her face hit the ground first.
Yeah. So she'd be hurting. Either she's hurting really bad, which turns out she was, or she's dead. But
So all the kids are back.
She didn't even give us a briefcase. There's no briefcase. We're stuck here, no matter what we do.
yeah, actually, Hazel goes back to the hotel, shoots the handler, takes the briefcase for him and Agnes. All the characters are at the concert. They tell Klaus to be lookout, which
He fucks up.
He fucks up. He goes to buy food. And all the soldiers start... Actually, no, it's Cha-Cha first. Everybody starts showing up.
No, Cha-Cha didn't go inside.
No, she didn't.
No.
She tried to.
Oh, no, that's right, because it was... I think Cha-Cha did, because she has she had a confrontation with Diego.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And Diego remembers the detective and what she said about doing the right thing.
You're right.
And he doesn't kill her. He lets her go.
Yeah.
Does a number on her more than Hazel did, but leaves her to live. And
I also
Luther,
wanted to go and try to talk sense into Vanya. When I say talk, I mean loosely, since she can't talk. But Luther just says to go in to calm her down. Then he lies and says that he's basically just going to go tackle Vanya.
Yeah, he ended up.
Or him and Diego were going to flank her.
Yeah.
And then he sees that, and of course, just blows everybody out of the room, basically.
Before that, the mercenaries start showing up. And we get to see more of Klaus's powers, where he, for a brief moment, manifests Ben. And I think everybody sees him. And Ben's like unleashing the freaking like monster within, flinging around all of the soldiers. One dude gets ripped in half.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, is that Ben? And then everybody, Klaus, Five, Luther, Diego, Ben, they all try to tackle down Vanya one more time, but they she captures them. And apparently, from what it looks like, because we're only given like just a small grasp of her abilities, she's apparently able to suck the life out of an individual. Because you start slowly seeing them kind of degrade as they're being captured by Vanya, and for like the last ditch effort, Allison, who can't talk, like for a brief second, you think she's gonna shoot Vanya in the back of the head to put her down, but instead, in kind of a interesting way to subdue her, puts the gun near her ear, fires it, and I guess the sound distracts her enough to make her unconscious.
Yeah, the sound of the gun firing interfered with the sound wave she was using.
Went back at her a little bit.
Yeah.
And that, I guess, the stored up energy that was within her fires out and hits the moon.
And you're like, yay, we did it!
Nope.
Except for she blew up the moon.
Yeah.
The moon is going to hit Earth.
Klaus is the first one to realize it. He's like, hey, guys. So what is their plan? We're like, well, it's like, there's nothing we can do now. Oh, wait, no. Five thinks, you know what? We'll go back in time to the point before Vanya blows up the moon. And they're like, well, is there any side effects? They're like, well, you could become young like me. So they do that. And then for a brief second, they make it out like, okay, maybe that is what happens.
Yeah, they're all young again. And even Ben shows up.
Yeah.
Like he's corporeal.
So they all disappear. And we get to see like the aftermath of the freaking, like as they're trying to teleport or the time travel, we see the one detective that helped Diego, die from the fire. Cha-Cha dies. Agnes and Hazel escape. Everything is completely dies. I'm sorry?
And the world just ends.
Yeah.
Now, going on to season 2.
It starts with all of them getting stranded in the same location, just on a different year.
All the 1960s within 3 years of another.
Also, well, here's my question, because the last time Five did this, because when Five did this, he basically teleported in the exact same spot, but at a different year. So why is it that he went from, was it New York, all the way to Dallas, Texas?
He doesn't have a full grasp.
Also, we get to see more of their powers in this. Like this first bit, because all of them are together, including Vanya, which something I forgot to mention is the first time that the world ends, the only body we don't see, which I think they were setting it up like early on, the only body we didn't see was Vanya's. So now everybody's here. Like when 5 gets out, he's there. Luther's there. Ben isn't there because he's dead.
Well, he's with Klaus, but he's not there he's still there as a spirit.
Yeah.
They all end up in the same alleyway.
By the way, but at different times or different years.
Yeah. Luther got there first.
Yeah, Luther got there first.
Then Allison.
Then Klaus.
Yeah. Or wait, no. Klaus got there first.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Klaus got there
first with Ben, then Luther, then Allison, then Vanya.
Diego.
Then Diego, then 5.
Vanya kind of got the raw deal.
Yeah, as soon as Vanya gets there, she ends up walking out and gets hit by a car.
And has complete amnesia.
And she ends up living with the people who hit her with a car.
Yeah.
And I did call it, even though it wasn't because I was clever and based on the story, I did call it that Vanya was gay.
Yeah.
Because of an article I read that Ellen Page, before the season 2 came out, said that Ellen Page said that she loved playing queer characters ever since she came out in real life. So I was like, Vanya's going to be gay.
Or if anything, she's bi. Because she.
Well, after what happened with Leonard, I wouldn't blame her for hating
politics here, but
yeah, that's. I'm not. I don't want to go too much into that.
I mean, there are a lot of things that
we may have to, considering
because we're in the 60s and Allison is black. So
I was talking.
This is before the civil rights movement,
and I was talking about the whole fun.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't blame her for distrusting men. Just like screw it.
Yeah. You know. But Klaus is the last one to arrive, and it's in the middle of this complete war.
You mean 5?
5.
No, 5. Yeah, 5.
Klaus
5
is to arrive.
5 is the last one to arrive, and when he arrives, it's an all-out war.
The Soviets are attacking the U.S.
Luther, Allison, Klaus, Vanya, Diego are just tearing into them.
The Soviets.
When Klaus shows up, a freaking
5.
Who did I say?
5. You said Klaus
again.
5. A tank rolls up behind him. It fires around, and Vanya freaking just tears it apart. We see Diego dodging a ton of bullets.
I think we might be able to show that part because that's on YouTube. They actually put that on there for people to see.
And then, and my favorite, and I'm just thinking to myself, why can't Allison do this now? The whole, what was it? Where she rumored these 3 guys to have their heads blown up.
Yeah, we can show it.
Okay.
Cool.
I just want to show this one part. Cause it's such a great beginner for this.
Oh, hands down. Episode 1 of season 2 is just.
All right, are you showing screen?
Really good.
Yeah, it's on screen.
It wasn't even there. They just added it in. I'm like, that's bullshit.
Yeah.
It was when Vanya was at the FBI building.
Oh.
And there was like the doors that she was in, and all of a sudden an umbrella just kind of manufactures in it. I'm like, no, bullshit.
The shadow there's no way the shadows made that. There's no
Right.
way.
Right.
But yeah, I'm like, when I see that first scene and you see Allison rumor that she blew their minds, I'm just thinking, where's that? I wanted to see that in the final fight. It's like we only get to see that in the opening scene where they all die. That's bullshit.
They probably learned how to use their powers more efficiently and whatnot.
Also, I saw what they did there with Klaus summoning the army to take down the Soviets. I'm like,
Yeah.
Oh, he pulled the Lord of the Rings.
Well, and Hazel pulled the Terminator.
Yeah, that's it.
Come with me if you want to live. Even though you didn't say that verbatim, but close enough.
Yeah.
What? Hi.
Sounds like somebody's not happy.
Here. What? Sorry. Ash is just sitting by the door, just meowing. Come here.
So, also, yeah, it starts off with finding out that every single one of them were brought to the past, but at different time periods.
So Klaus became a cult leader.
Diego put in an asylum.
Yeah, because first thing he tries to do is kill
Lee Harvey Oswald.
Yep.
He tries
To
to
prevent the assassination of JFK.
which I think would have.
Which it hadn't happened yet.
Yeah.
So they thought he was
people
insane.
Yep. And then what else?
Phayn gets hit by a car, has amnesia, lives with a family on a farm.
Allison becomes part of actually gets remarried, and then becomes
Works at a barber shop, gets her voice back after a year.
And becomes part of this activist group.
Yep, part of the civil rights movement.
And this entire time, she hasn't used her powers. Like, she's been very resistant to using her powers.
What did you just bring me?
Well, I mean, I don't
so
blame
weird.
her. Last time she tried using it, she got her throat slashed.
Well, it's like she realized that she was happy that she earned, without using her powers, earned the things that she had.
I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm more. Ash just came in here and brought me JR's Oakleys from the kitchen. She just came up to me, dropped them on my lap, and walked away.
That's great.
Keep talking while I go figure this out.
Good Lord.
Oh man. Let's see.
And now at this point, Klaus is tasked to, or not Klaus. I did it again. 5 is now tasked.
So we didn't go over the others though.
Luther is a boss for the mob.
Yeah, he's a body. He's basically muscle for what was his name? Something Ruby.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Fuck.
But
the guy who ended up shooting Lee Harvey Oswald after JFK was assassinated.
Yeah.
Jackie Ruby.
Yeah. That he's working for him. What's his name? Klaus. Yeah, as we mentioned, he's in a cult.
He's the leader of it.
Actually, I think he's resentful about it.
Oh yeah, he becomes resentful about it
because so many people are following him. I don't know if it's like because of people following him or the fact that he maybe grew conscious.
He became focused again on trying to save
Dave.
Yeah.
With him he realizes that at this point in time, he's going to try to save Dave. And fails miserably.
Yeah, I mean, he ends up causing Dave to end up getting enlisted sooner than he was supposed to.
Yeah.
And quite possibly into a different branch of the military.
Yeah, because we were mentioning the fact that it was originally the Army, and then he's now in the Marines.
Don't recall.
So to some extent, Klaus caused a ripple effect.
Oh yeah.
What else? And if that's the case, then Klaus probably won't even meet Dave.
Yeah.
I mean, at this
Probably
point, shouldn't he- so I guess that means that, to quote, since freaking MJ's not here, to quote our favorite ultimate or perfect being from Dragon Ball Z, multiverse Fury's a bitch. You know what? That's what they should do. I mean, honestly, I think that's what they're probably going to end up doing. Is the fact that, especially with how friggin' season 2 ends. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. You haven't seen it.
Yeah, it's fine. You can talk about it.
But I'll get to that in a second. So at this point, 5 is going to try to find everybody. He first comes across this guy who I guess owns or at least helped at a hardware store.
Super convenient store. Super freaking conspiracy
Yeah.
nut.
Yeah, he's a super.
He was a He was a TV salesman.
And I'm assuming it was his place because he lives there. Like it was his own store. Because he pops in, and when 5 shows up, he's all like, "Oh, you showed up just like the others," and he has all these pictures of everybody that showed up, and with the help of this guy, he's able to try to locate his family. Oh, before I go any further, like within the first couple of minutes, Hazel dies. The Swedes show up, and before being killed, Hazel puts something in his pocket, and 5 teleports away, and Hazel gets shot up. Rest in peace, Hazel. You were a great character. So 5 is now tasked to try to uncover what happens, why history was changed, and save the world before 8 days are up. Is it 8 or 10? I think it was 8.
It was 10.
Oh, it was 10? So yeah, to save the world because the world was going to end in 10 days. So he goes off to try to find his family. And I think one of the first ones he finds...
First one he finds is Luther.
Which Luther's pissed. He doesn't want to see him.
Yeah.
He's very
Get the
resentful.
fuck away. I want nothing to do with you.
And you know the thing that bugs me was the fact that he's all saying that, oh, I've been alone for almost 3 years, and I'm just thinking to myself, dude, 5's been alone for 45, like close to that. You don't have shit on him.
No, when it comes to being dysfunctional, the Hargreaves have it made.
Yeah. So what's up?
Ash is a little asshole. I thought JR was home, but suddenly he's gone, and I find JR's Oakleys, his expensive polarized Oakleys, at my feet, and there's scratches on the lenses. And I think she opened up the bag, and I see there was like a bunch of magazines on my kitchen counter. She knocked them all down, and my hats are all over the place, so I had to clean that up.
Oh, Lord.
So she might be doing that again right now. So
Probably. That's cats for you.
Yep.
So we were just talking about
attention.
I'm trying to get this finished up. So we were just talking about Luther. about.
Well, we can give a brief summary of the entire season instead of going over the synopsis of each episode.
Okay. So there's a first. MJ, would you agree that Luther was a dick when Five fires him?
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't get why Phi was hitting on the waitress or asking her what time she got off that night.
What was the name of the waitress?
I don't remember her name, but it was like
I don't think she ever said her.
she never said her name. She would just
I thought it was Dolores.
no,
That would I think that was the name of the mannequin.
no, because I would have caught that.
Dolores was the
I
name of
watched the first episode twice.
But it was probably just to pass the time until Luther showed up.
It was just weird coming from Five though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Luther works for Jack Ruby, the guy who in real life shot Harvey Oswald,
Um,
and became a cage fighter, or he became a fighter.
Luther is resentful towards Five. And in some sense, wants nothing to do with him.
Wants nothing to do with the whole family.
And just the whole end of the world. Well, he doesn't even know that the world's ending yet. No, he does. He does. That's right.
No.
And he thinks that everybody died
Yeah.
by him.
And,
Wait, yeah, it was brought up. He's like, I don't care.
yeah, he's like, I don't give a shit. I'm living my life.
Because of him, he thinks that Five ended the world, or Five caused it all.
Yeah. And at this point, he's all making like I've been alone for this amount of time, and I was like, as I was just telling Aiden, I'm like, dude, you've it's understandable, but your brother Five has been.
I'm gonna talk to him real quick.
I'm sorry. Oh, probably the cat.
Yeah, it sounds like Ash just wants attention.
So
Who knows? Maybe the litter box needs to be changed.
Oh, also, so I'll go forward. Yeah, I understand Luther's resentment, but I think he should have been a little bit more understanding now, considering his brother was probably away from his family a little bit longer than he was.
Yeah, well, I mean, for one, he probably ended up having a ton of, memories and emotions pop back up after seeing him, and the first things out of Five's mouth is, hey, we need to get everyone back together. There's another apocalypse happening.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, I see your point.
But at the same time, even considering all that, he did handle it really poorly.
Yeah.
Of course, he was also under like a lot of stress because, Sissy's husband was pestering the hell out of.
Oh yeah, no, wait, we didn't even
pestering the hell out of Jackie Ruby.
We haven't even talked about Sissy yet.
Yeah, Sissy was the one who ended up hitting Vanya with the car.
And Vanya's been living with them, Sissy, her husband, and their son.
Yeah,
who I'm assuming Harlan, who I'm assuming has it could be autism, or
that's what I'm thinking, considering the fits and whatnot.
Yeah, like a severe case of autism. And I guess with Vanya being there, it's been a real help.
Yeah, Harlan's calmed down immensely. Doesn't really have any fits anymore.
Yeah,
unless Vanya's not around.
Yeah. The husband, I saw right away being a dickwad.
Oh yeah, hands down.
Especially with, and I will say I didn't recognize that was him during the bar scene. I thought that was the TV salesman guy, the conspiracy nut.
That would have made sense too.
Because they kind of look the same. I had to rewatch that to realize that was him. But yeah, he's a drunk. He's the typical. He's controlling. The husband is the.
It's all good.
As I called him, the dickwad.
Wait, what?
We're talking about Sissy's husband.
Wait, what?
We're talking about Sissy's husband.
Yeah.
Carl.
Yeah.
Carl, yeah. That guy's a douche.
I need to look up his actor though because he looks familiar to me.
He does.
But I realized like early on he was going to be a problem. Especially like when Vanya has to go pick him up.
Yeah.
And he's
drunk and he gambles.
Yeah, and he's all like, does she still love me? And Vanya's like trying to, tell him, of course she probably still loves you. Like, not trying to cause problems, because I think she knows right. Probably.
He was Mr. Marsh in It.
Really?
He was General Hastings in the Pentagon for X-Men Apocalypse.
That's where I recognize him.
He was in... I'm not reading all of these out. He was Sam Becker, the voice for Far Cry 3.
Sam Becker.
I was just
going to say...
I recognize him from. Hold on, I'm going to see if he's in older stuff.
Because I just played through Far Cry 3. Which one's Sam Becker?
I think that's the brother.
Huh.
Oh, that's...
He wasn't in what I thought he was in. Okay, never mind then.
Because the two brothers are...
Oh, he was in American Psycho.
The two brothers are Grant and Riley.
Okay.
Because I just finished playing.
It must have been one of the friends then.
Yeah.
He was a CIA agent.
Oh, that's right.
Posing as a high-ranking privateer for Hoyt Volker through Rick Island CIA agent Willis Huntley. Sam appears to be the deuteragonist for the second half storyline for Far Cry 3. Okay, so he's this... Okay. Secondary protagonist.
Nice.
Oh, okay, I recognize him now. He's the guy with the blonde beard. In Far Cry 3. Okay.
Nice.
Yeah. How to summarize the events? Like, there's so much.
Yeah, because as mentioned, friggin' Allison, she's now helping this
Civil rights movement.
Civil rights movement, and she works at a barbershop, and
a hair salon,
and she's married. She's happily married. And probably like had the same impression of like everybody being dead till she finds, after trying to save her husband from being incarcerated, and like probably minutes after,
finds one of Klaus's cult members.
Yeah.
Casey. I didn't like him at first, but towards the end, I thought he was funny.
The only way she realized it because the tattoos on his hands.
Because he has hello in one hand, goodbye in the other.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I love that Klaus uses song lyrics to sound wise.
Oh.
Like, do you have any nuggets of wisdom for me, Prophet? Don't go chasing waterfalls.
Yeah.
Running through the rivers and the lakes that you used to. Oh, so wise. Yeah, it is.
And he even says that, like in the later episodes, like when he tries to do his "I'm a fraud" speech, he even says it like it's all lyrics, and it's just they're not going to.
And as Klaus uses Backstreet's Back.
Oh yeah, we need to get into that. Ben finds out he can possess people.
He can possess Klaus. Well, wait.
I bet you if he put his mind into it, he probably could have possessed somebody else.
Oh yeah. I don't doubt that.
But yeah.
The only reason why he wants to possess Klaus is so he could talk to Jill, which is one of Klaus's cult members that he has a crush on.
You know what? I'm gonna say this. Good on them for giving Ben a win. He's been dead, and he has a good moment.
I mean, kind of, because then he finds out that Jill fucked Klaus and Casey.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Because he's like, I'm a virgin. She's like, what? No, we had fun on the sex swing. You, me, and Casey a couple days ago.
He's like,
Wait, what?
Yeah, he's like,
like,
oh,
he's like, damn it, Klaus, you filthy asshole.
yeah.
Actually, no. There was another good moment when Diego realized.
Oh yeah.
Because like Ben's like, okay, ask me one question that only Ben would know. And Ben,
All right, what did you reprogram? What did we have you reprogram Luther's Teddy Ruxpin to say?
no, it was Grace.
No,
Luther.
No, it was a Teddy Ruxpin.
I thought it was.
it was Teddy Ruxpin.
Was it? I thought it was Grace.
Yeah,
No, it was Teddy
right
Ruxpin.
before the podcast ended, I finished that episode.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. It was like
I was like, oh god, I have one of those.
it's like it was like Luther has dirty underwear, and that's where Diego realizes, holy shit!
I thought it was
Ben.
Luther smells daddy's underwear. I was like, okay, that's different. I could have just
It
misheard
could
it.
have been. Yeah, I have to rewatch it. I was gonna rewatch it today, but I started playing Destroy All Humans.
Not gonna lie, it would have made sense considering how much of a daddy's boy Luther is.
Yep.
For those that happen to end up watching this at all that don't know what a fucking Teddy Ruxpin is, it's a bear
It's a
that
devil.
would read you stories when you put tapes into his belly.
He's not a devil. What's a devil? Is the Tickle Me Elmo?
No, I was making a joke of the Nostalgia Critic short for Halloween.
No, Teddy Ruxpin's a devil.
The last bit is like, what are you? Do you really want to know?
You gotta undress him in order to put a tape in him.
And then
Yeah,
Maybe
he's
I'm the devil
tape in
now.
his belly.
hold on. I'm looking this up.
Yep, hold on, I'm looking it up. I'll look up the quote. So I'm gonna mute myself real quick while I play this.
Where the hell is it? Okay. I had to type in Teddy Ruxpin instead. Okay.
Yeah,
I
it
wrote
was
the part
very
like
moving
Oga
scene.
Faroga, and they
I
call it
found-
Oga Faroga. And
I
then
found
like, we're gonna kill you tonight. Oga Faroga means eye for an eye, assholes.
Oh, I love that.
Life's a pretentious little shit, but I love him.
Okay, I found it. The Teddy Ruxpin thing. Can you guys see it?
You found the Nostalgia Critic. I'm finding the Ben one. So I want to find out what he says.
Okay. Here it is. So
Now, are you going to write another review, or am I going to have to get nasty?
All right. I'll do another review.
I knew you'd see it my way.
Just answer me one thing. What the hell are you?
You really want to know?
I'm the devil!
Found it. Luther sniffs Dad's underwear.
okay.
Gross.
Holy shit, I was right. I wasn't sure if I heard it correctly, so holy shit.
Yeah, because I'm looking at the subtitles right now. It says in sing song, Luther sniffs Dad's underwear. But yeah, I might still have my Teddy Ruxpin in my basement somewhere, which is a good place for him.
Now, I will periodically, as everyone's being reunited too, Vanya starts learning about her powers again. Not getting her memories. Actually, at one point, before I forget, Luther finds out that Vanya's alive. And
Yeah, when she picks up
Carl.
Earl.
And oh my gosh, she.
Honestly, if not for Sissy showing up, I wouldn't have put it past Luther to try and kill her.
Yeah, because when Luther pops up, like shows up, he was. I think he had the intention of shooting her, thinking that if anything, she may lose control and kill everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, but when she said that she lost her memory, he didn't know how to handle that.
Yeah. And oh boy, is it a horrible way that she gets her memories back too.
Yeah.
Oh, fucking hell.
But I mean, for crying out loud, like, it was pretty cool the first time she displayed her powers after the amnesia.
Yeah.
Having to chase after Harlan and finding him in the freaking.
Yeah. Water. Oh, because this that actually brings up my point. For what I was mentioning earlier.
She basically linked her life force with his.
Well,
to save him.
With since we're gonna get into that, so yeah, Luther finding out that Vanya might be leaving. Luther or Harlan runs off, and by the way, how did he fall and drown? Because it's just a pond.
It didn't show. We just hear a loud splash.
So he probably ran in and drowned himself?
Well, he also has autism.
So he probably wouldn't know.
Maybe, but that just it gives you more questions than answers because it's like, because you saw like the red, like what Aiden called life force going into him.
Well, it's like...
That makes me wonder, can it be transmitted?
Well,
because he basically ends up having the same powers as her.
Well, that's what I was thinking, because
he was linked to her. That's why whenever her powers were activating during her remembering things, he was remembering it.
That's why I was saying.
But then, like in the barn at the very end. Oh yeah, you haven't seen it yet, but
yeah, I saw the barn thing at the very end of the 9th episode, but that was about it. I haven't seen the 10th episode yet.
What were you saying?
So if you guys remember the first season, Reginald unleashes those firefly things. Mm-hmm. Now, when she brings him to life, or Harlan,
it does look similar.
Oh, that's what you're referring to.
Yes, it looks like those some of those firefly things came out of her and into him. In fact, it explains. It's interesting. Like near the very end of the episode, when you find out that even after, by the way, spoiler for you, Aiden. Sorry.
Don't worry about it.
Even after her getting those back, like taking what she did to him back, he has fucking powers.
Oh.
He has telekinesis. He levitates this freaking...
He has the same powers as her.
Yeah.
That's why I said to you in DMs that I didn't know how I don't know, because the movie, one of the more recent Predator movies had a kid that with autism who happened to be super smart, and they got a lot of backlash for that. So I was kind of afraid that it was going to be the same for the Umbrella Academy, a kid with autism having powers. But I mean,
with this, I mean, the kid, there's the only thing that like we see of the kid is the fact that he has a strong emotional bond with Vanya.
Yeah,
and that's even made more apparent when they become even more, like linked with their powers, where like at one point when Vanya, like after everybody's reunited, which I will say before we go into Vanya being captured, as well as freaking we need to talk about Lila.
Mm-hmm.
So Lila is a character that they introduce, or at least that becomes
she was institutionalized along with Diego.
Yeah, but it turns out that was a front.
Yeah. She's actually the daughter of the handler.
Daughter
using loosely because the handler killed her parents.
Yeah. And we find out
killed her parents. But the handler was there. And I guess it was ultimately to capture Lila, because Lila was also born on the same day as all the other kids. And she has powers. Now, I just don't get how she has all of them.
So
And how she never used it before.
So here's my thought process: is she didn't. I think her ability might be just to because Klaus made a good point. Like, what if like maybe she can only control one ability at a time?
Well, that's what they said in the finale, that she can only do it one at a time.
So my thought process is she doesn't have their powers, but she can mimic.
So she's kind of like Rogue. Well, wait, no, Rogue just saps power, but
yeah. Actually, it got me thinking of the guy from Heroes, who at first could manipulate or copy people's abilities, but gradually learned to, with the use of his powers, being able to use the abilities that he's been able to copy.
yes, we are, Sage. We are still going. It's just like that whole fight was dumb.
Oh,
I know Aiden's not sitting there right now, but you and I already talked about how that fight was so fucking dumb.
It ended very quickly. Actually, the thing that really got me was near the end where, like, Vanya is trying to calm Harlem down.
I'm back.
And while Vanya is trying to calm down Harlem, which, by the way, the reason he's freaking out was because right after Vanya almost lost control, which, by the way, R.I.P. to Ben.
Yeah.
Because Ben
died for real. Like, he passed on. Like, his spirit is gone.
Or
it was cool.
Or what ended up happening was because he's a ghost.
Yeah.
If anything, he's complete. I mean, whatever happens to spirits, if they somehow die, he's gone for good. There's no way he's coming back.
And then he told Vanya to tell Klaus something.
Oh, yeah.
I think it was.
He was scared to go into the light in the first place.
Yeah, because Klaus manifests him, and he tells him, you could go at any time. And this entire time, I guess Klaus was under the impression that it was his fault.
That Ben didn't pass on, go on.
But no, he was scared. And I love Klaus's reaction. He's like, that little shit heel. Also, you know what? The moment after this conversation, I love this. Because at first, everybody is kind of wondering what the heck's going on, because not only did Jeff K die, because apparently the way that the apocalypse was going to start was Vanya blows up the federal building
because of the torture.
Yeah, because of the torture. Vanya
LSD, and then they shocked her.
Yeah, and in a sense that jogged her memory on who she was. And it got her to the point where she was losing control, and Ben had to stop her. He was the only one that could stop her. And This is why I said that. This is why I said I had the impression that he could probably go into anybody and possess them. Because he went into Vanya and was able to pull her out of whatever was going on, but at the price of his own existence.
Now, the entire time he was even starting to link up with her, he was already being hurt by the energy she was giving off.
It would have been bad if they would have made a "I don't feel so good" joke.
But
they kind of did with Klaus, where he threw up Ben.
No, yeah. I mean when Ben was slowly deteriorating.
Oh. No, I like the way they did it better. Can I have a hug as I'm going?
I love that.
That made me tear up.
I love that.
Yep. Aiden.
What?
Also, go ahead. Sorry.
Honestly, think he told her to tell Klaus, "I'm proud of you."
Yeah.
It kind of sounded like it.
I don't think he was. I mean,
well,
I guess if those were parting words, but I don't know.
But if I may too, the last words from Ben, like the last conversation with Ben and Vanya is so great.
Yeah.
Because Vanya, and it's relatable between the two of them, because Vanya is, just is pretty much like, I'm doing it again. I'm a monster. She's like, I don't want to be around, and Ben, it just comforts her, and I think he's like he can relate, because in a sense he's a monster. He is a monster inside of
Before.
Yeah.
Did you guys talk about how Carl was all fucking stupid with the whole institutionalization of Harlan?
Oh, I was gonna get to that because
he thought that he caught the gay.
Then he caught the gay, and that he's been reprogrammed by Vanya, who he thought was a Soviet spy.
Yeah, the way, like, because he finds out that Vanya and Sissy have been kind of going at it, and
he thinks that homosexuality is a disease. But in considering the time, that is what a lot of people thought. It wasn't changed until 1973, where the DSM finally said that homosexuality was a natural psychopathology. But so it doesn't surprise me, but still, just the whole institutionalization thing was a bit much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the fact that Harlan also has autism.
Yeah. Have we talked about Ilya any?
Lila?
Thank you.
Yeah, we were kind of talking about it because we were talking about her powers.
Wait, Lila has powers?
Yep.
Oh yeah. Okay, so you don't find this out till the last fucking fight.
The last half of the last episode.
Yeah, we're gonna get into that because near the last episode, you probably saw.
I love Lila. Lila cracks me up.
Well, and she's freaking hellbent to kill 5 because she thinks that 5 killed her parents.
Well, he did.
Yeah. Oh, because
by the way,
yeah.
As we didn't get much screen time with AJ, and I'm just gonna say that was a horrible way for him to go.
Yeah.
Where AJ was trying to convince Lila that the handler killed her parents.
Well, I mean, she kind of did because she's the one that stamped it.
With the fish tank on his head. He's a goldfish.
Yeah, and what ends up happening is she makes this speech about, fish, not
being eaten by sharks.
Yeah, being eaten by sharks, and basically just swallows him down. I'm like, is this kind of like if this is this like a regular fish, or is this like somebody who's had their brain put in a fish? Because if so, that is a horrible way to go. Regardless.
Right.
I'm not gonna lie, it was the thing of 5 killing Lila's parents was stamped by the handler.
Yeah, because in the final episode, he talks to Lila because she's like, "You killed him." He's like, "Oh, yeah, I did," but he also points out, he's like, "Why was the handler there?"
Yeah, he brings up the fact that
out to assassinations.
Yeah, because the handler never goes to assassination, so he thought that was weird.
Yeah, she was there for her.
So
she had 5 kill off Lila's parents because she knew Lila had powers.
So
we think that it's ability to mimic other people's powers.
Yeah, before we get into that,
that would explain why she's able to pop around whenever 5 was chasing her.
So Vanya is trying to calm down Harlan. Klaus notices a light and sees the handler and Lila in the middle of a field by themselves. And I love the joke from the conversations between Luther and Allison and all them, especially with Luther asking which one's the girlfriend.
Wait, what?
Yeah, Luther, they're like, oh, who are they? That's the handler, and that's Diego's girlfriend. And Diego has to point out ex-girlfriend.
And he's like, and Luther goes, which one's the girlfriend?
And I love the conversation where they're talking about how uh,
Go ahead and spoil it.
Yeah,
the,
go for it.
the handler is going to stop them, and for a brief second, she mentions the fact that they killed the board of directors, and Diego's like, "We didn't kill the board of directors," and Five's like, "We should do it." That is all. Like, as an awesome scene that is. Good Lord, he almost looked like he was enjoying.
I didn't think he was gonna do it.
It did look like he was enjoying it. He looked,
And he keeps going off about how he doesn't make it personal or take pleasure in it. But damn, did he take pleasure in that?
mm-hmm.
Like at first, I was like, "Oh, he's not gonna do it. There's gonna be something that stops him."
And then the random lady that tackles him down for
Oh God!
I thought that
I don't
was
want to hurt you.
And then but going forward, yeah, Five's like, yeah, that's not entirely true. Diego's like, and the conversation with Diego and Five about Diego being asked to become part of the commission.
Yeah.
I love the conversation about him getting on the infinite switchboard. He's like, "Yeah, I made that machine.
I mean, bitch."
He's like, I met the El Resistance.
That was funny. But yeah, they're all at the farm because they're trying to, like, Vanya's trying to prevent Harlan from bursting. And so then we see Lila and the handler and looking all smug because the handler convinced Lila that Five was the one that killed her parents. Like, yes, he was, but she was the one that it carried out the order.
Set it up.
But she forged the paperwork to make it look like AJ did it.
And she wants to take Harlan.
Yeah, she wants to take Harlan because he has powers.
And he's like, it's like, well, Diego's like, well, I don't like your odds. 2 against 7. That's not fair. He's like, you're right. Let's even those odds. And sure enough, like at that
all
second,
the assassins from the fucking commission show up.
Like every single, like an entire army.
Oh, because she said we're going to war at the end of episode 9, right?
Yeah, all of them pop up. Everybody, like some of them wearing masks, some of them aren't. And I'm just thinking to myself, that's not fair. and
they're getting their asses handed to them.
At first,
the protagonists at first, but then Vanya comes out and just does one whirl blast and knocks them all out.
Before we get into that, because at one point to kind of break the distance between the commission and Five and Diego, Five teleports him and Diego like halfway, and I guess that made him tired. So Diego then proceeds, like, as they're being like shot with bullets or fired upon, Diego uses his powers, which I'm still on the fence of him just having telekinesis, because he stops all of the bullets. It's like he's pulling a Matrix move where he stops.
He did that in the very beginning of season or episode 1.
I honestly think he has the ability to just manipulate the air.
Or manipulate just anything.
Because, like I said, like the comics go more into his powers than the show did.
What's his powers in the comics?
In the he has the ability to throw things and curve it. He has the ability to breathe underwater indefinitely. Hold on one second.
Amateur.
Because like with this one, they make it out like he can actually. He pulled a freaking Neo move. Where he's
that's the only power that I know of that he can manipulate thrown out. Oh, he can manipulate thrown objects and hold breath indefinitely.
So he basically, as the bullets are being shot at them, he stops like a ton of bullets and throws them at a hay bale, which I thought was really cool.
I mean, he's able to curve knives. I don't see why he couldn't curve something that's being thrown in the air.
Yeah, true.
It doesn't have to necessarily be from him. It just be in air.
And Vanya, like as Vanya was about to calm Harlan down, the barn gets shot up. A short blast of energy separates her and Harlan. Harlan gets knocked into a lower level of the barn, and Vanya basically is like, no, I'm going to end this, and proceeds to fly out, build up a ton of energy, and within seconds, the entire commission is, just killed off.
Except for Lila and the Handler, who have a force field around them.
Yeah. And apparently...
that's what I mean by Breaking Dawn.
Yeah. Which...
Big built-up fight and then...
it doesn't make any sense to me because especially with her being able to mimic abilities, because the force field was already around Lila and the Handler.
Yeah.
So it begs the question, where did she learn that?
Probably one of the other children.
Unless the Handler...
Across time.
Unless the Handler is another one of the children.
No.
Quite possible. No?
No, because they all had to be the same age.
Or, well, not entirely, considering 5. He was stuck in the...
They were all born on
I know, but I'm
1989.
saying there's a possibility that maybe the Handler's been alive longer. Also, I'm gonna...
Timey-wimey bullshit.
I mean, Lila's one of them.
I'm just, I'm going to call it the bullshit right now. They should have just thrown the Handler in the incinerator. They should have realized how bad of a person she is and just threw her in the incinerator.
Oh, yeah. And she kills everybody. All of them. Even Lila.
Oh, and we aren't to that point yet.
We're right up there.
Yeah, we're getting there. She's able to create a force field as all of the commission's killed off. Then proceeds to use the same powers as Vanya and uses an energy blast to throw them back. Which, by the way, I want to point something else. Where did they get the same costumes that they got from the very beginning of the show?
Yeah, we're in the same black.
Granted, I like the black costume motif that they have for this one because they're all the same. But at the same time, it just begs the question: where the hell did they all come up with black outfits?
Maybe they got it from Hargreaves. Who knows?
Yeah, but they don't have any other interaction with him till like after the initial dinner.
Fair point.
And the last moment we see him, he takes off his face.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that. I should have expected that, but I didn't.
To show the back of his head, and he just, I guess the members of that organization he was in, he just kills them off.
Yep. Goodbye, magnificent.
Because they weren't supposed to kill JFK.
Yeah.
He's the one that ordered them to not kill them, and they're like, "Oh, we did it anyway." Haha.
How much you want to bet Grace was the one that convinced him to not have JFK killed?
Quite possibly.
Yeah.
I mean,
because
it's shown that he does have actual feelings for her.
Yeah. So
I like him in season 2.
Oh yeah, and him and 5 have a good moment, and it really sets up. Yeah. Which, oh gosh,
the acorn.
I almost forgot this because so they mentioned the fact. He mentioned because they have a moment where everybody else leaves. Him and 5 are kind of drinking. Was it Cognac? And he's all mentioning, his experiences with the time travel, and Hargreaves basically gives him some advice, like maybe what you're trying to go for is greater than your own, abilities. He's like, start off small. Why don't you start off with seconds and then go from there?
Yep.
Which that goes back to that comes back later in the episode. Yeah.
The acorn.
And what ends up happening near the end, because they end up friggin' the Handler sets up a deal with 5.
Why does he keep falling for it?
I don't.
He's desperate.
I mean,
he fights between the 5s. and the
Oh yeah, I was actually going to bring that up. The interaction between
Old Five and
Luther, and Five.
And even the plan
You're
that he had
fighting.
still failed. The plan he had to get the suitcase from Old Five still failed because part of it got zapped into the portal.
Yep. I'm not gonna lie, the fight between Five and Five cracked me
Also-
up because of how it started.
Well, it's like Five mentions the fact that with him being in proximity with another version of himself or another timeline version of himself could result in a series of side effects. Some of it being constant flatulence,
paranoia,
paranoia,
sweating,
sweating, and homicidal rage.
homicidal rage.
Which, sure enough, they both end up succumbing to.
Yep. But
And
like
Luther's an idiot
the
that
fight,
fell for older
the fight
Five
between
tricks.
the two.
Luther was an idiot and fell for older Five's tricks.
Oh yeah.
Or
I'm not
younger
gonna lie.
Five, depending on how you want to look at it.
Yeah, it was great though. The fight between the two of them, starting off with current Five kicking Luther in the freaking crotch,
Yeah.
and then during the fight, both of them show up to his sides as he's about to say something, and both of them kick him in the crotch.
Oh no, it's like he's all like holding on to him, it's like, oh, and then they're like just teleporting around him as they're fighting. And then they get to that point where they do kick him in the crotch.
Yeah.
And what ends up happening is so apparently the reason so instead of it being like Five by his own will doing it, Old Five, or at least I guess in this sense, younger Five, is forced into the portal. Unlike his previous version.
Yeah, I mean, Luther got knocked.
Why? What happens at the very end happens.
I mean,
What'd you say?
I said that could be part of the reason why what happens, the twist happens.
Well, there's a lot of stuff that all of our characters influenced, which is why you weren't around because I made a joke. Multiverse theory's a bitch.
Yeah.
Fucking forgot what I was going.
But
Sorry.
oh, we need. We should also briefly talk about the Swedes because one of them gets killed by
The handler, but she blames it on Diego.
Yep, she pinned it on.
Oh yeah, because they grab one of Diego's knives and they lure them into the woods, and one of them gets blown up by a mine.
And then the Swedish version of Hello comes out, which is really cool.
Yeah. Another brother, or one of the other brothers, gets killed by his own brother.
Because he got rumored by Allison.
Allison rumored him to kill his brother. And there was only one left. And he actually realizes after the whole situation that the handler manipulated him.
Yep, not just that, but he was about to chop his own freaking hand off.
When he realizes what happened.
Not gonna lie, it was cool the funeral procession that the two of them did for the brother.
Oh, it was a Viking burial.
Yeah.
That was I will say that was great. And as I mentioned, there's not a lot of dialogue from these characters.
Oh no, but there's a lot of personality to them.
And it makes you kind of wonder what they're like. Especially when like a couple of scenes with like them just kind of roaming around. That one moment where they're in the apartment
with the cats.
With the cats.
One of them's just sitting there petting one of the cats.
Yeah. Also, rest in peace, the crazy conspiracy guy.
Elliot.
Yeah,
Yep.
Poor Elliot.
That was a horrible way to go. And I love, like, before we get into the finale, I love the fact that they didn't realize it was Swedish.
Yeah.
So they down their code book.
Oga Faroga.
And they basically are...
We would have figured it out eventually.
He's like, it's Swedish, you idiots.
Like I picked it up right away, like
Right.
what it meant without
Same here.
because we knew who killed Elliot, so it was like okay, the Swedes, and so they wrote something in Swedish, not a name.
Yeah.
But the spacing between the for and the Olga part is like they were so close together, so it looked like a last name.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's just the oldest one that's still alive.
Yep. And he's out for blood.
He wants to kill the handler.
Yep. And probably 5. Well, he was about to.
But once he realized, I think.
Well, it's like, at first he was definitely going to kill him, because, or at least put him out of his misery, because
the handler killed everybody else.
Yeah, because what ends up happening is, Diego is able to talk down Lila, and actually before that, their revelation of the fact that Lila could be like them. And they immediately go, well, Dad didn't tell us everything, so what's to say that he didn't tell us that there was more like us?
Well, because I mean, I was like, when did he ever find out her birth date? But could be because when they were in there together at the asylum, and also the fact that she said that her parents were murdered when she was 4, which was in 1993, meaning that she was born in 1989.
Yeah,
just like the others.
And another crazy thing too is just the usage of her powers, because when she shows up, actually she doesn't kill Diego off like right away. She leaves him like pinned down by the
tractor.
The tractor.
His leg gets pinned down after the blast.
5 gets buried by some rubble and takes down Luther. And apparently she was able to mimic his strength, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
And tosses him out of the house.
Allison tries to rumor her, and she says, I heard a rumor, and then Lila interrupts it by saying that you stopped breathing. And so ends up affecting Allison to where she can't breathe.
Now,
wow.
Now, there was something like this earlier in the season where Allison did the same thing to a
cop.
No, not the cop. Well, yes, the cop, but I'm talking about the guy at the diner.
Oh,
yeah. Poured the coffee on her, and rumored him to pour coffee, and kept pouring it as his hand was freaking burning. Now I'm kind of wondering, because he was fighting it. I was kind of wondering if there's a point where, like, subconsciously, because we want to one of our base instincts,
avoidance of self-harm.
Yeah, is like he started trying to fight it, because in a sense he's basically self-harming himself. And in a sense, the same thing was going on with Allison, where she was gasping for air, and unfortunately the only way that she was able to survive was Luther giving her mouth to mouth and giving her breath. And with that, they realize, that Lila is probably like one of them. So,
because she ends up encountering 5, wants to kill him, and he's like, what are you talking about? She's like, you killed my parents. He was like, what? And she mentioned 1993 in London, and he's like, oh, wait, what? He did kill him, but he realized it was because the handler, he's like, why was the handler there? And then he kind of figured out that
he
even trying to grab kids with superpowers.
And he even tries to tell her, like, look, it was just, for me, it was just a job. It was nothing personal. I don't take pleasure in my job. And she's like, oh, yes, you did. And it's like, and he said something along the lines of, then you make a terrible assassin.
Yeah, he did.
And then he starts reasoning with her, like, no, it's like, no, the handler was the one that signed off on it. or that at least approved it. And he mentions the fact that he thought it was weird, but then begins to realize we weren't there for them. We were here for you. And that's when Diego starts trying to talk her down, mentioning the fact that they were born on the same year, and that
On the same day.
And she was just like them.
And then they're like, oh, you can join us. We can be a family. And she was like, at first she's like, nah. But then...
Oh, no, that was because Luther said something like, love shouldn't have to hurt. And Lila looks at him and then just does a gag notion.
Yeah. But then the handler shows up and she was like...
She freaking does a sneak attack and freaking...
She mows down all of them.
Yeah. Except Lila.
Except for 5.
And Diego makes a good point. Like, once she realizes that you aren't useful to her, she's going to kill you off.
Yeah.
And sure enough, yeah, that's what happens is Lila talks against the handler, and the handler kills her.
And 5 is barely alive, but all of a sudden the Swede comes in and kills the handler.
And what happens next is the handler comes up and is about to kill 5, and he has a flashback of...
The lavender.
No, not the lavender.
Not the lavender,
5 has a flashback of his conversation with Reginald, or Reggie.
Yeah, I was wondering when that was going to come into play. If they didn't put that in, I was going to be mad.
And sure enough, yeah, he basically rewinds through a couple of seconds, and just to the point where
he's able to stop the handler from shooting everybody.
Yep. Actually, pretty much grab her gun while she's in front of the barn door, because the Swede was going to come right after her. And Lila's trying to question the handler, and just before she's about to get her answer, the Swede shoots her.
And then he's about to shoot 5 and all of them, and then 5 says enough, and then the Swede says enough, and then they walk away.
Which I'm happy that they had a kind of moment like that.
But then you find out later that the Swede was just hitchhiking down the road, and the cult bus pops up. And they're like, you looking for a ride, my friend? And he's like, goes on the bus.
That poor guy.
Yeah. He can't even go home. Wherever home is. He doesn't even have his suitcase anymore.
I don't think they had one.
He could have just fucking grabbed one.
Yeah, honestly, I think the Swedes were from that time period.
That would have been funny. Also, I like Herb.
Oh yeah, Herb's
Herb's great.
Near the end, Herb gets it has to take a lot of shit from the handler.
Yeah, welcome to Love Resistance.
Yeah. And he's been promoted to president, or
he's the head now. And him and Dot show up, and then they're like, well, we got to get back to our own time. And he's like, oh, just take your pick, because all the members of the commission that were killed, all their suitcases are still there.
Can I just say that is really that rule is so stupid. The whole you have to have it with you at all times. Because, shit like that, where, all the commission members are dead, and here they are lying in a field with a bunch of time-traveling suitcases.
And the fact that they're not bulletproof, like 5 suggested.
I thought that was great. Oh, yeah, that's right, because 5 originally had Hazel's thing. Oh, rest in peace to Agnes, too.
Yeah, she died of...
cancer. Apparently, they had good 20 years. Or was it 10 or 20?
20.
Yeah, good 20 years before she succumbed to cancer.
And then Allison leaves a note to Ray.
Yep.
Saying goodbye. Sissy and Harlan stay.
Yeah, because...
but they're going to a friend's house?
Yeah, in California.
Yeah.
Vanya was trying to convince them to come to the future with them, but Sissy was kind of like uneasy about that because
I mean, she doesn't believe that the future is better. She
Yeah.
very much is still in the mindset that like our lives are predestined kind of thing.
Yeah.
That because she's promising, or Vanya's promising that it does get better, especially for those with autism, those who are gay. But I don't think Sissy wanted to believe that. I also think that it was all a way to protect Harlan
yeah.
because of all that, because you never know what's going to happen with Vanya. And so, and the fact that he has superpowers and is linked to her, maybe breaking that link might be better for him. I don't know. That's kind of what I got from it, even though I was kind of disappointed that they didn't go with her.
Yeah. And we, like, during the whole thing, we see that Harlan is levitating this wooden bird toy
Mm-hmm.
that he's carried around throughout the season. Which I because before we skip it, Vanya is able to save Harlan, and whatever she gave him goes back to her. And like I said, the little firefly things that we saw from season 1 that popped up earlier in the season 2 go back into Vanya. So it seems like she was able to manipulate whatever was going on.
Maybe.
But
Luther tries calling Jack Ruby and doesn't get an answer.
yeah,
Probably due to the fact that 1, he's still in bad terms with Jack, and 2, also probably because, well, Jack's probably in jail now
Oh,
for
no,
shooting.
Jack was getting ready to go kill Lee Harvey Oswald.
yeah.
'Cause you saw him grabbing a gun and load it and walk away.
Ah.
And
You could have him
Luther was
on
trying to call him to
episode,
stop.
Yep.
You see, I didn't know that. I haven't watched up 10 yet.
Yeah.
And the episode ends.
They get back to their time. But
This is a
walk in and Reggie's there. And I'm still confused by this.
yeah,
Because it's like, oh, it took you long enough.
It's a day after the apocalypse.
Yeah.
And by the way, I had the same reaction that they had, which was, oh shit.
Well, I didn't like Aiden when you posted on Discord saying, oh, what a twist. I hadn't even watched the last episode yet.
Yeah.
And I was like, ah, shit. So I had to watch it right then just to know what you were talking about.
Well, I mean, you started the show by the time he said that. I didn't at the time.
Yeah. But
I started watching Friday.
So they they're all like, we're back. We stopped the apocalypse. We're back home. And
I noticed that the fireplace is a picture of Ben.
yeah, and Reggie's like, this isn't your home. And they're like, what the fuck? And they turn around, and Ben's like, you hear, I kind of fucked it up, but you hear, who are these assholes? And they turn, it's Ben.
It's like a younger, like emo version of Ben.
Actually, he has a scar on his face, and I'm thinking like, are they trying to make it like he's 5?
I don't know.
They have the same
personality. Like eyeliner too.
Well, anyways, he's like, this isn't the Umbrella Academy. This is the
Sparrow
Academy. And we only see the silhouette of a few of these characters, and one of them looks like a cube.
The what academy?
The Sparrow Academy.
Huh.
And all of them
Academy.
All of them look at each other and they're just like, oh shit.
And then it ends.
Lovely.
I'm
just like, I want more.
That's why I'm starting to read the rest of the novels. But it's not really going to help me much because they've deviated so much with the show in comparison to the comics.
Oh, goody.
So, I mean, it's not really... I mean, I knew about the whole going to Dallas part because of Volume 2, which was Dallas. It's titled Dallas. But other than that, I don't think we're going to get any hints for Season 3. They better make a Season 3.
They probably will.
Yeah. But we'll probably have to wait a year or two for it. So...
Exactly.
I liked season 1 kind of had like this darkness about it, like darkness in color and tone, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like everything was just dark. But season 2 was a lot more colorful. But I don't know if I like season 2 better than season 1.
Yeah, it's hard to say. We forgot to bring up the interaction between, like, in season 1 between Klaus and Reggie.
Are you talking about? No, we
Robert
did.
did.
We were talking about it.
Yeah, when you stepped away for a second, it got brought up. But thoughts?
It was surreal. I wasn't expecting them to portray him as a little girl and then be like, "Go, you don't have much time."
No, the little girl was supposed to be Jesus.
Yeah,
Or God.
yeah, that's what I was saying.
Mm.
I'm still on the fence of it being God.
I think I read somewhere that it was supposed to be God. Now I think about it.
But
I mean, she did say, "I created everything."
Yeah.
and I will say it was kind of a dick move when she says, "I don't like you." Probably with the fact that, he could bring back the dead. Actually, you know what? Now that we see season 2, it makes more sense now because he did convince somebody to not go towards the light.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if anything, he could be doing. He's probably mad that Klaus could do that with anybody, and they'd just be stuck on Earth.
Mm.
Anywho, I will say I enjoyed. When it comes to season 1 and season 2, I really enjoyed both seasons. The characters,
Oh, definitely.
I would say, are enjoyable just due to the fact with at first them being very dysfunctional, but as time progresses, them becoming more of a family unit.
I liked the interactions more with them, the siblings,
Yeah,
in season 2, because there wasn't as much contention.
there's
There's more contention, but there's not as much.
one thing that kind of got old was them going at it about Vanya destroying the world.
Yeah.
Because they were going on it hard. Also bringing up the fact, because Klaus, Vanya, and Allison are drunk, and they briefly bring up the fact that her boyfriend was a serial killer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was like, wait, what? It's like, don't worry about it.
You're like, well, that's a story for another day.
I was kind of disappointed to see that Klaus, broke his chain of sobriety.
Yeah, me too.
But
I will say I kind of expected it.
yeah,
Especially with him really trying hard to convince
Dave not to enlist.
But at the same time, I also saw, Dave's reaction with him being in a very stern household and being around family members that are in that mindset. And that scene with the uncle at the diner is hard to watch.
Yeah.
There was a lot of hard to watch scenes in season 2.
I think just because of the time and the era that it's set in made it harder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people are going to give, as you mentioned, MJ, a lot of people probably give this show backlash because it's
the civil rights movement, homophobia.
Homophobia, the treatment of the mentally impaired.
Yep.
I loved Diego even more in season 2, but that whole hero complex. I gotta save JFK. JFK.
By the way, before we forget, really dick thing that came up was the fact that he any interaction when it comes to the whole hero thing, he mentions the fact that Reggie would probably rub it in his face and say, "I told you so."
Yeah, and then he started stuttering.
No,
the letter that said "I told you so."
Yep.
Yeah.
That whole when they first when he first interacts with Reggie, with Reginald.
Yeah, and the stuttering.
No, not the stuttering. I'm talking about like back when they were chasing him down.
Oh yeah, where he gets shanked
He gets shanked.
and left to die.
Amateur. He walks away.
And the whole thing with Pogo.
That was interesting seeing a young Pogo.
Well, young Pogo.
And seeing Pogo going up into space, being the monkey that they sent into space.
Yep.
Just if humans can go into space.
But I guess something went wrong with his shuttle because when he comes back to Earth, he's near death, and
it's just like the whole scene with Luther.
Yeah, I was actually about to bring that up
because he uses the same syringe.
And by the way, Reginald, like in that scene, he has a lot of concern for Pogo.
Yeah.
I'm not the only one that noticed that.
Oh, no.
Tons of people have.
I mean,
he was reading to him.
He was saying that he despises children.
I think it's more that he creates this distance between his kids because of the fact that they are superheroes and the chances of them dying are very high. So to hold any sort of emotional bond with them would hurt more. So it's just best to be distant.
Considering he keeps himself distant because of what happened with his last family, having to leave his wife behind.
Oh, also,
as she was dying and what?
Dick moved from him when Ben died.
Right.
When he did his eulogy.
Oh.
For Diego?
Yeah.
For Ben, where he's all talking about how...
Or he's a dick to everybody saying, like, oh yeah, if you guys did this better, he wouldn't have died, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. That's like the
I don't remember that.
That's the first season of the last episode. Or first scene in the last episode.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where he talks about good and evil and then belittles his own children, saying, but unfortunately you're not one of those people. Because despite all the training, all the practice, you guys let your own brother die. I will say, at least he gave him a little bit of leniency, because he basically says,
"Oh yeah, no practice for no training today. We'll resume tomorrow at 6 a.m."
Yeah, out of respect for your brother.
Yep.
So he has some heart to some.
Yeah, I mean, he did ask Klaus when he was speaking to him, while Klaus was technically dead. He asked how Luther is doing.
And he kind of admits fault for screwing up the whole moon thing.
Oh no, he said I should have thrown that away.
Yeah, I should have burnt it. I should have burnt it. Like, wow, that's your takeaway, huh?
Yeah, that's still a dick move.
Oh yeah, I was gonna bring up the music.
Oh, all the different songs used throughout.
Mm-hmm. I thought they did a good job with that.
The random.
I've always been curious because it's like I noticed that like older movies and such, when they use music, it's almost like literal. Like the titles of it are kind of like, or the song titles are kind of literal to like the plot of the movie.
Well,
or
it's like
songs that are kind of relevant to it, which I noticed that they kind of did it for season 2.
Well,
like they used, for example, Major Tom when Pogo was going up in space. But it's not Major Tom by David Bowie. It's crap. What's it called? Major Tom Coming Home, I think. Yeah, by Peter Schilling. Major Tom Coming Home. Standing there alone, the ship is waiting. All systems go. And are you sure? Like that was awesome. Like a lot of the songs, I noticed, like the lyrics were very relevant to what was going on in the scenes. It was spot on.
Oh yeah.
I was gonna say an example for what you were talking about when movies do that, or movies or TV shows do that, was some of the music for Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
Where there is a particular theme when it comes to the music that was picked. For instance, The Chain by Fleetwood Mac, where it's a story basically describing, if I'm wrong, let me know, like a dysfunctional bond between
you don't love me now. You never love me again. Yeah. Because that was actually between Lindsey Buckingham and Stevie Nicks and their kind of tumultuous relationship.
And then Father Son, which by the end of Guardians of the Galaxy 2 is such a great song for that ending.
Mm-hmm.
Father and Son by Mumford and Sons, I think is what it was.
Cat Stevens.
Yeah.
Cat Stevens, thank you.
Because it had to be relevant because it was in the all 80s music.
Yeah.
And it's like the last scene of Yondu.
Mm-hmm.
That actor cannot get I've noticed with a lot of his roles, he dies.
Yeah.
In a lot of his roles. I just noticed like you'll have particular actors or actresses where almost every role they play, they
Sean
die.
Bean.
Well, except for when he played as Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer, where he killed everybody and he was the only one that lived.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What movie is this?
Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer.
I'll have to look it up.
It's a 80s film. It's a good film. It's just kind of like the day in the life of him being a serial killer and finding love. And then he ends up killing his girlfriend because she wanted more.
Yeah.
And it just kind of ends in a
wait,
cold
we've
end.
been on for 4 hours.
Yeah. I know, right?
Longest podcast.
Imagine us recording
Been a
this.
while.
Oh God. No, thank you. I don't want to edit all that.
That's why I suggested, fuck it, why don't we just do it as a podcast instead? But hold on, I want to make sure that I'm looking at my outline to see if there's anything that
Anything you missed?
Yeah. I think I got it all.
All right.
Yeah, I got it all.
Because I was thinking about maybe calling it.
Yeah. I'm
after this,
starving and I haven't eaten in all day, so.
I know I'm probably going to...
Okay, so it's not just me.
Yeah.
So I'm probably going to get a Red Bull and then play some Destroy All Humans.
Yeah, I'm probably going to play some more of Horizon Zero Dawn.
You still enjoying that game?
Oh, yeah. I'm almost to level 60, and I haven't even beaten the main game.
Dang.
Yeah, I already beat all the DLC. I did the DLC first. And I have the not the Tripcaster. I did all the hunting things, the trials.
Oh, nice.
And I got this weapon. They gave me a bunch of weapons, but one of them like has the not the Tripcaster, the purple arrows, the ones that knock off components, whatever the fuck it's called.
Oh, those things are cool. And
yeah, but I got a gun with that, and it shoots out like bursts of it. I just killed a fucking Thunderjaw, like a massive Thunderjaw, in a matter of seconds with that thing.
Nice.
Yeah. And I'm way over leveled anyway, because I think that it was supposed to be a level 18 and I'm level 57. Cool. So it doesn't take me long to kill things. I can kill most things in one hit.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, but I'm almost done with the game. I'm just trying to get all the collectibles, which is a lot. So, but yeah, I love the game. It's awesome. Can't wait for the next one.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it too.
All right.
Do you want to do the outro, MJ?
Fuck no. But I will, because why not? All right, guys. If you sat through this whole direct, congratulations. You won nothing.
I feel like that's a reference to something.
But thank you guys for joining us during this podcast of episode 68. Don't know what we'll be talking about next week. If you have any suggestions, leave them in the comments, or our social medias are listed in the description below. If you want to check out some of our other channels besides Novakast, that's also in the description. Aiden does streams every week on Thursday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern time or 8 Central. And then he also does streaming on Twitch on Mondays.
Yeah, I already streamed yesterday because I won't be there this Monday. So
fair enough. I know for this channel, he's been streaming Super Mario RPG. Magi also streams on Twitch, and he also uploads to YouTube. We also have some people in the chat like Sage and Vegan. They're there. They're awesome. Post more content, dudes. As I say, and I don't post anything. Mm-hmm. I'll probably be streaming maybe more. I don't know. if I do, it's probably going to be this month because I'm going to be working full time starting this fall. So, but if you want to check out some of our other content, Rob posts videos every day. He does reviews. He does Let's Plays, commentary videos. But yeah, if you want to like, comment, share, and subscribe, that'd be great. But until next time, it's been Rob, MJ, and myself, and Aiden. And we'll see you next time. Take care, guys.
Take care.